Hello, yes. Okay. Closed caption should be on now. Yep. Okay, I've got it. Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes. So, yeah. So, everyone was just who's raided was just on top stream, and let me actually do a shout out. Yes, there we go. It is now working. Hey, yes. Oh goodness, it's going to be a day for alerts, isn't it? Thank you very much, Mianin Min, for the follow. So yes, because we far surpassed my goal of getting to 50 followers on our last stream on Tuesday. I've now will set it so that we are actually now aiming for 75 followers. And I admit that this is probably going to be a bit of a stretch to get it before the end of the month. But, well, if you don't hope, you'll never know. And yes, indeed. So, Odd Top and Jazzy, you are both VIPs. I have honestly been waiting for so long to get those 50 followers in order to give out those VIP badges because I have, well, okay, so I initially thought it was honestly just going to be 5 VIP badges. So I knew exactly who my first 4 were going to be, but I spent so long debating on who the 5th one should be. It's like, should it be Odd Top? Should it be Jazzy May? Should it be Silas? And then I got the 50 followers. Everything got confirmed probably about 26 hours ago for me. So I went over to set the VIPs and I saw I've got 10 slots. I don't need to decide. I can set them all as VIPs. So, yes, if you've not been a VIP for anyone before, we have basically it means that you can potentially have special permissions. So, if I were to say, need to put on moderation for things like links and emotes and caps locks, you wouldn't be affected at all. And if I need to put the chat into slow mode for whatever reason, once again, you would be immune to that as well. And while I can't quite do it yet, apparently I need 90 days, or 90 days slash streams to be able to do it. Even if you are not subscribed to me, I can invite VIPs to special subscriber only streams. So, yes, you have a few benefits and a lot of appreciation from me. An excessive amount of appreciation. And honestly, I think appreciation should also go out to the people. Thankfully, it is now actually scrolling across the screen. It wasn't doing it last stream, I don't think so. So we have Ansu, Ohako, Zudwa, Benedict, and as we just saw in the stream, Mia Min Min following me since the last one. So yes, we've got quite the audience here today. We are already, well, yes, quite a few people. So as is pretty much tradition for me, I do tend to put a countdown for 10 minutes on the stream, just in case I need to set things up and make sure I'm prepared. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mia. Oh, thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure that I was pronouncing it correctly. But anyway, so yes, I tend to do a 10-minute countdown. Sometimes I'll pop in and chat while we're waiting for it. Sometimes I'm kind of getting things still prepared, but it gives me a bit of time to set up, and it gives people some time to settle in before we get started. And I also appreciate that quite a number of people probably aren't 100% sure on what Crusader Kings 3 is going to be. Oh my goodness. Hello, Huffkins. Oh my goodness. Affiliate hype indeed. Wow. Thank you so much for that. So yes, you are you are now registered as a founder. A founder. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness, goodness. Oh my goodness, Hopkins. How much was that? How many subscriptions was that? Oh. Okay, okay. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness, look at all of that. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Honestly, I don't think I have the words for the appreciation on that, Hopkins. Thank you so, so much for all of that. Thank you so much. Yes, well, so that is probably going to keep going for a while because it's going to blink for every single one. Okay, so yes, so I will say thank you once again very much, Hopkins, and I am presuming that your financial situation is in such a place that you are able to gift that many subs. So yes, please, I am Oh my goodness, I really cannot believe this. So yes, please consider yourself if you are thinking of subscribing or donating via either coffee or bits or whatever. But please make sure that your financial situation is settled and appropriate, and you are not having to decide between if you want to donate something to me and if you want to be able to afford something yourself. Please always take care of yourself first. Please always take care of yourself first. Odd Top, unfortunately, no, that is not Ollie. These emotes are pulled from the default options that Twitch gives you. I presume because they obviously anticipate that people may not have things settled right when they start up. So you do have 20 different emotes to choose from for your first 6 different colours, and honestly I just had to go for the cats. There's basically cats, dogs, text emotes, and a general person emote, which Jazzy has just found there. Yes, they are still cute, hence why I used them all. Hello, Parsin. Yes, we've had a fair bit of chaos. We are a bit late. You can hear all of the subscriptions pinging because not only did Hoofkins subscribe to me, but he also gave a huge amount of gifted subs to everyone. And I think oh, let me just have a look. Oh my goodness, okay. Oh, oh, thank you very much, you passed in. I was going to say, I think you unfortunately just missed the gifting stuff, but thank you very much for subscribing yourself. Okay, I guess, honestly, I guess we better get started. Okay, right. So, Crusader Kings 3, I don't know why it always takes a moment to flick up onto the screen, but if people aren't aware of what Crusader Kings 3 is, this is a grand strategy game which basically stretches all the way from the western tip of Africa, Spain, all the way across to just about where China is, and it extends down slightly to the sub-Saharan region of Africa. Okay, that was indeed you passing. Okay, I think we have finally cleared out the backlog of subscriptions. So yes, this is a grand strategy game. Is the sound actually playing? Yes, but it is very, very quiet. Let me just see if I can adjust that up a bit, because there is some nice music in the game. And you can basically play anywhere from a small little count in, say, the middle of England. Oh, Jazzy, was that you giving some bits? Okay, thank you very much. I can't see it on my OBS setup, so I'm probably going to have to make sure I have something else open just so that I can actually see all of that. Okay, give me 1 second. So yes, this is indeed a grand strategy game, and we can play basically as anyone we want. So I put up a poll a couple of weeks ago asking people basically, who do you want me to play as? And the Duke of Wales was the one that won the vote, like almost 9 votes to 1. So a very, very popular option. Okay, yes, I should be able to see everything there. That is good. Okay, so we started off as the Duke of Wales, tried to get the Kingdom of Wales, got it, lost it, ended up being deposed, dethroned, and all sorts of businesses. And at the end of last stream, we did actually manage to reclaim the Welsh throne. Jazzy, I feel like I'm watching a period drama. Yes, this very much is what Crusader Kings 3 can be like sometimes. So here we are. So this is basically where we are playing. So we can see that Wessex has taken up kind of most of the south of England. East Anglia is still holding on as an independent area. Ireland is almost united. Scotland has 2 main kingdoms. So we've got the Kingdom of Alba and the... Okay, no, these are actually both Yeldoms or duchies. So one is held by someone who was Norse, but has basically combined his culture with the Picts and created a new Picto-Norse culture. And it's also inbred, so that is going to be interesting. And then we have the Yeldom of Lothian, which is held by someone who is still an unreformed Norse person. We have Lancashire as an independent ruler, and we have Annandale as independent. Rhinic, Lancaster, which is split in the middle by the Jorvik Kingdom. And yes, as Hufkin says, a period drama with lots more war crimes. Jazzy, exactly my kind of drama. So this is the Kingdom of Wales, and what we own specifically is the bits labelled. No, that's not us. There we are. That is us there. So we can shift click on any territory that our vassals own and see the breakdown of who owns what. So we ourselves own this bit here. And we have a couple of people working under us who are going to be, for the most part, duchies, but we do have a couple of counts and countesses. Odd top and grave robbings. Yes, we have had a couple of grave robbing incidences. Yes, my court physician seems to have a habit of deciding that he wants to go and dig up graves in order to study medicine, which is not the best thing when the villagers come to complain at me about it. So which war are we involved in? The war against the tyranny of Duke Payen. So this is basically everyone who is in blue is a defender and everyone in red is the attacker. So basically this person, who is just a random count, has decided that his liege, Duke Payen of Poitou, is basically unfit to rule, and he wants to basically overthrow him in favour of whoever his primary heir is, which looks like his first son. Yes, so that is in France. That is near enough to us to be, oh my goodness, okay, what has happened to Spain? What is happening to Spain? Okay, so an artifact claim war and a claim on the kingdom of Asturias. That could majorly change the balance. But otherwise, this is the world map that we have, and everything you see here can be played. So for us, we are honestly just focused on our little tiny bit of Wales, and we will unpause and begin. So we did also leave last time with a scheme to murder Prince Alfred and a scheme to fabricate a hook on Prince Ithel II. Speaking of, a fabricate hook, a compromising situation. Everyone gets naked sometime. The hard part is ensuring that the troop of jugglers enter Prince Ithel's chambers at just the right time, and that there were enough servants around to speculate about the ensuing chaos. I suspect Ithel will do anything to prevent me from stoking the flames of the following rumours. So yes, we're basically going to fabricate a situation where he ends up naked in front of a load of his servants. So yes, let's do it. And we've got a weak hook on Prince Ithel II. So let's see, what can we do with that? So we could, if we actually had the prestige to do so, we could raise our crown authority and see if we could revoke titles from it. Could we potentially... No, it doesn't look like we can use that option to get him to denounce all of his claims. And no. So unfortunately we did take the Kingdom of Wales back from him last episode, so he does have a pressed claim, which means if he gets enough troops together or enough support, he could come back and challenge me for the throne of Wales. Okay, so Prince Alfred, this is the person who is in line to inherit the Kingdom of Wessex, and we are killing him for one good reason, and that is, if we look at the succession law, this person is our son-in-law, matrilineally married to our eldest daughter. So that means if he inherits the throne, it potentially comes under our control, or at least in our dynasty, which means that in a generation or two we could arrange a few things so that we actually have both the Kingdom of Wales and the Kingdom of Wessex under our control. Unfortunately, he did find out about our plot last episode, so our chances of actually murdering him are only 5%, and the chances of it staying a secret if we don't is only 20%. But I think we'll go for it. So, bon appetit! And let's see... Okay, yep. So it didn't kill him. But it did mean he was bedridden for a week. Does that affect anything on his actual character stats? No. The herbalist supplying the poison was tracked down, and Alfred knows that I was behind the plot. So, oops. However, his health is poor. He does have 2 sons. So there is always the chance that the inheritance could go to either of them. But either way, hopefully... Yes, so his primary heir is indeed his son. But hopefully, if things turned out a little bit different, we might still get a strong claim on the Kingdom of Wessex and take it in by force. Okay, Jazzy, off to feed your cats. You're obviously going to be away by the time you hear this. You'll see this, but yeah, give your cats a little head scratch from me. So, Court Grandeur level 1. Allies have joined the war, which doesn't really matter to us. Oh. I thought that said she was poisoned, but no. Died from complications of a failed treatment. So very much a failure of physician, heal thyself. Okay, so Duke Murphin has offered to shoulder the expenses of basically repairing the finger bones of a saint in exchange for a mid token. So he will gain a weak hook on us. The durability will increase by 60. The thing is, it's only giving us 0.1 piety a month, so it's, yeah, we'll just say we have no need for your help. We have other things that honestly probably need our attention a bit more. For instance, this shield we probably need to repair or reforge in a short while. And this masterwork tapestry, we can actually repair or reforge that right now because we have the money. So that has a durability of... Oh, that is interesting. So this artifact is not currently decaying. And what does it say about this one? Okay, so that one is yearly decay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. So let me just have a look at that one now. Okay, so if you display them, they seem to have a reduced or non-existent deterioration option, which is an interesting thing to note because I would have thought it would have been the opposite way round, in which artifacts that you put on display have a worse rate of decline. Okay, so this is the Duchess just basically bowing and showing me that she is willing to serve me as a loyal vassal. Ooh. Aha, okay, so Ireland has taken that tiny bit of Northern Ireland. So you have been having an affair with you, and because of that you've produced a child. Okay, we will lose 1 level of devotion if we shrug and basically say we don't care. So this crime cannot go unpunished. So unfortunately, as much as I will dislike doing that, we'll have to do it. And then I think we'll honestly just imprison them almost immediately. Okay, it was only her. So we could ransom her for 50 gold, as she does have 162. So yes, let's do that. Of course, this child is an illegitimate child, but of our dynasty. So who disappeared from our council? I can't quite see. Okay, let's put Prince Ithel on as our steward, even though he absolutely despises us and does not have a skill. So there we go. She has ransomed herself out. And we need to hire ourselves a court position because no one we actually have in court is that good. And yes, of course, Prince Ethel has created the faction to install himself on the throne, which is always to be expected. Okay, you have no notable traits. And who do we have? Someone with a learning skill of 14 versus someone who has a learning skill of 13 but does have the renowned physician trait. So yes, we will pay that 50 gold to him and hire him as our physician. And we can, oh, not hold court, but a courtier scorned. Okay, so someone is basically annoyed. So because we made this person a physician, our knight is annoyed at us for doing so. So yeah, apparently he had been certain the honour would befall him and no one else. So let's see, what position would we... Yeah, let's just make him our court tutor. Just to keep him happy. And what else can we do? So we do have someone in our court. Oh, he wants to weave something which captures nature's beauty. How much will this be? Yeah, 50 gold. Let's do it. That will take 14 months. And hopefully we will get something like the tapestry that hangs behind us in our courtroom. Okay, we won the war, which we didn't really even participate in. You are up here in Lancaster, trying to fabricate a claim. New military perk. Knight effectiveness plus 57 plus 75%. Yes, indeed, we will take that. That pushes our knight effectiveness up to 189%. Okay, so I think seeing as you are making something for us, we will forbid you from becoming a knight. And yeah, we have nowhere near enough prestige to invite any new ones along. Oh dear. So one of our sons has grown up and only gotten a level 1 learning education, which is exceptionally poor. Now, I have no idea if learning can actually be increased or not. Let's see, who can we potentially get him betrothed to? Preferably someone who is not of our dynasty. Preferably someone who has a half-decent trait and is still moderately young enough. So I can see a couple who have a tier 2 genetic trait. We've got an 11-year-old. We've got an 8-year-old with the Amazonian trait. Let me just see. Okay, yes, you are our youngest son, so we'll get you married off to her. Yeah, medieval times, people. Medieval times. They're not actually going to get married until she's 16. So, dangerous faction, that is probably... Yes, Prince Ethel. But the thing is, if he rebels against us, then we can imprison him, and hopefully by then we'll actually be able to revoke some of his titles. Or the other method, we just toss him in the dungeon and leave him there. Yeah, welcome back, Jazzy. Yeah, probably wasn't able to say this before you actually left, but... yeah, please give all of your kiddies a little head scratch from me. Okay, the betrothal has been accepted. And can we actually declare wars? So no, we do not have a casus belli against anyone. So let's just see what our innovations are. So we do have casus belli, can use individual de jure county casus belli. If we have a justification for our wars, we can avoid provoking the ire of our neighbours and the retaliation that often comes with it. So we are neighbouring Wessex. We could seize the Earldom of Gwent because they took that from us again last stream. Lancaster, no. Jorvik, no. Lothian, no. Yeah, this is yeah, this is one of the, not necessarily the problems with Crusader Kings 3, but there are situations where obviously you're trying to build up to go to war to claim new land, and because you need to build up to it, you do have a fair amount of time where things are not necessarily boring, but a good portion of time can pass by pretty quickly. Huffkins, your cat overlords are now pleased for the next 45 minutes. I think you mean the next 4.5 minutes, Huffkins. I suppose I should be glad that my own cat is quite calm about most things, actually. Okay, yeah. So I have a little cardboard box behind my computer monitor, and I just checked, and my cat is indeed curled up there, nice and fast asleep. Okay, so this is the adding our family's motto to the commission. So what does this give us? 50 renown, or we can say it's foolish and unnecessary, and we gain 100 piety. So let's get that. Let's get that renown. And in doing so, okay, no, I thought it was 1,250, but no, it's 1,750 for the next dynasty legacy. And we are being raided. So could we actually... Okay, I think they might be going up there to deal with it anyway. So good on you. And Odd Top Box Boy, yes. He loves this box. He loves this box so much. Game? I think the game is slightly bugging out. So yes, we did get a small patch for Crusader Kings 3 earlier today, but it's not really changed anything. So we just basically have yeah, so some of the glitches and issues that we were having previously are still there, but I'm presuming that they will work on them, and there's nothing game breaking. It's just sometimes in this situation a bit hilarious, where you just kind of goes like, okay. So this is Heleth stops being our mentor, so she was teaching us in the ways of intrigue, and she is now our friend. Okay, this is ridiculous. As the keeper of the king's personal collection, I have a responsibility to ensure the quality of your work. Okay, so this is basically one of our antiquarian. So this is basically the person who is in charge of taking care of all of our objects and artifacts, and obviously the person that we are commissioning to create something. So we can say that our antiquarian will indeed ensure its quality. So 60% chance of a higher quality, 40% chance lower one. Stick to your own duties, or... Oh no, okay, no, I am not changing everyone's positions. So we'll just say stick to your own duties, because 60-40% is... Yeah, I'd rather it be average without risking it than trying to go for something good and ending up with something of a lower quality. So yes, I was saying about Ollie and the box. Honestly, we put that box there for him something like, oh, I'd be willing to say like at least 6 years ago, and despite every other box that we've gone through in this household having like scratches, dents, tears, rips, all of that, the box that is on the desk behind my monitor has always remained pristine, and he just always loves going in there. Yeah, no problem, Jazzy. That has reminded me, I was actually planning on putting a lurk list of lurk command down. I guess I'll have to remember to do that later, but yeah, no problem with lurking. Hope you have a good evening, and yeah, like I said, say hello to my kiddies. Say hello to your kiddies for me. Okay, and there we go. We have a tapestry. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. So let's go to our court and have a look at that. So yes, indeed, we can put it up as well. So we have a Welsh Tapestry, which gives +3 dynasty opinion and +3 court grandeur bonus. And then we have a second one now. So a large fustian tapestry of very fine craftsmanship. So this is depicts a hunting scene, whereas this one depicts King Ithil. Ooh. So the previous king then. And this one depicts a hunting scene, gives us +3 court grandeur bonus, and powerful vassal councillor tax contribution up at 3%. And oh my goodness, okay, we are going to have to go and have a look. So, left wall view. Does that indeed look different? Oh goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, I cannot. Okay, I really need to install the mod that changes this to a free camera, because I really want to scroll around and try and have a look. But I think that yes, indeed, they are actually genuinely different. I think they are actually genuinely different scenes. That is very nice. So... Oh, you couldn't have gotten there first. Okay, so we would have needed 145 gold to get a artifact from her. So her skill is legendary and renowned throughout the world. So she would have had a very good chance of creating a masterwork tapestry, but we do already have one of those. So that was her, and then this one is... So someone wants to make a box and is very competent. So 50 gold, maybe. We'll have to see what happens, because obviously we have a few other things that are demanding our attention at the moment. Which, speaking of, you are finally no longer at war, so we could claim the High Chiefdom of Ulster if we necessarily wanted to. And honestly, I think before we do that, I do just want to see, so your troops' military strength is inferior even with your allies. And there are 13 claimants to this title. So I've not been using this previously because, unlike Crusader Kings 2, this is very much hit or miss in terms of whether they'll actually come to your court, because they need to kind of have a reason for it now. So most people with a pressed or strong claim are women. We have got one person here who has a pressed or strong claim, so that can be passed down to his children. But honestly, the fact that he himself is unlanded probably means that nothing much will really come of it. Because basically, you have an unpressed claim and you are in Connacht. So you could come in and try and take it from us, especially as your liege is the actual ruler of Ireland. But I think we will try, save up a bit of money and take it for ourselves. Let's just see how our levies are. So almost at full strength on our levies, but we do desperately need some more men-at-arms. And once again, we don't really have the money for that. Okay, no Holy Order has enough gold for us to go to them and beg from it. And say we will go to war against the insular Catholics. So yeah, we consider them astray. So insular, a rural church that drifted away from Roman Catholic orthodoxy some centuries ago, lost many of its once distinctive features at the insistence of its mother church. It yet retains a greater emphasis on penance and monasticism and incorporates many traditional Celtic marriage customs foreign to wider Christendom. So, okay, this is the Earldom of Lancashire for 72 gold. Oof. Oh. I think we'll let that pass. I know I was saying last time that me waiting for the actual duchy was what kind of got us into this trouble in the first place, but I think we will still just wait for it, especially seeing as this they can send their, or he can send his ultimatum in 6 months. Thankfully it is only just him. Oh, okay, so a random event giving us the Holy Warrior trait. So +10 to Faith Hostility advantage. So I'm not 100% sure if this would actually count against insular Christendom or if it is more referencing like actual different large overarching religions, i.e. Christianity against Islam or Christianity against Norse or Asatru rather. And yes, of course, seeing as we do have 8 children, they are all married or betrothed in some fashion. So we will be getting quite a few pop-ups for our children. How many of these have decent traits? We could get you betrothed. So let's see, can we reinforce that trait? Yes, we should. I was going to say, it's like, oh, we've got someone here who's got the quick trait, but no, that's his cousin. We don't necessarily want to do that just yet. So he is 6 years old. Who is the nearest one? So we've got this girl here who is 8 years old. Yep, let's send that request through. You have no specific traits. Of games. Yes, well, I don't want to start that just yet. Thank you. I want to kind of wait. And of course, we could also marry. I think this is. Yes. Okay, so he does already have an unpressed claim on the Kingdom of Wessex. But it's basically these 3 that we want to be marrying off to are these children. So these are the ones that we really want to be marrying together. So all of you, all 3 of these boys, let me just check. Yep, all 3 boys have at least tier 2 intelligent trait, and the oldest and the heir apparent also has hail, which is good. So what do you have? Okay, so basically almost the same. 2 genetic traits, 1 genetic trait, and unfortunately nothing. So let me see. Oh gosh, this just feels really, really creepy. I know this just feels really, really creepy. But also, if this works and they have a child that somehow is not inbred, there is a chance that they will have all 3 of the positive genetic traits, and we can potentially try and reinforce the bloodline. Okay, go on. So, can't get her betrothed just yet because the first betrothal offer is being considered. Yep, there we go. So we will do you and... Was it... Okay, good thing I checked. That's the wrong grandson. Okay, you and you. So we'll send that one off. And then it is... Oh gosh, this just feels so creepy doing it on stream as well. And there we go. And then that is this child and... Yes. This just feels so creepy. I know why we're doing it. I know why we're doing it. Oh, we can ask our head of faith for gold. Yep, let's do that. Hopkins, Positron into some weird stuff in CK3. Hey, the game allows it. The game allows it. I haven't even done anything to change the religion. Let me just see. Where is it? So there is an option for consanguinality. Avunculate marriage, so between cousins, aunt, nephews and uncle nieces are allowed, and sexual relations between those relatives will not give the incest secret. So essentially, so long as they're not siblings or parent and child, it is perfectly okay. And here what I was waiting for. I will not be threatened. I always forget that it pauses. I always forget that it pauses for you. So I always end up accidentally unpausing it and letting it run for a bit. Okay, so we lose a bit of stress just through a random event. We got 1,340 troops there. Let's just see how many he is pulling together. A decent number. So Duke of Poitou, you are kind of down here, and okay, so we won't call them into war just yet, but we can call dynasty members. So, oh my goodness, we've got a little 4-year-old ruling somewhere. Oh my goodness, okay. So apparently we do actually have someone of our dynasty ruling in Sutherland. And yes, what an adorable little count. Hello, Blue Cornflower. Congratulations on getting affiliate. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Hoofkins has already been in here and been exceptionally busy, gifting us quite a lot of things. And Jazzy, yes, I've actually just seen. Okay, yes, I saw your cheer. I kind of got lost in all of the subscriptions. But yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Hoofkins, for all of the gifted subs that you've given out, and also the subscription that you did for yourself as well. So I guess I do indeed now have some motivation to try and refine all of my badge ideas. And yes, Blue Cornflower VIP, you've definitely earned it. Basically everyone that I have given VIP status to, which is 7 people out of the 10 I could potentially do so. Let me just take a quick drink. The 7 people I've given the VIP status to have all earned it. You have all earned it. And of course, I do have a couple of slots reserved for naturally other people who are going to be coming in and supporting me going forwards. So they do give you a small little benefit. And it is a nice way for me to just say thank you to those who have indeed been following and supporting and talking from, well, from very humble beginnings. So yes, we do actually have one of our relatives up here in Sutherland. And who else? So someone in Bosworth, wherever that is, in Wessex. That is interesting, and you have barely any troops either, so no, I don't think we'll worry about that. I guess we know we are missing a councillor because said councillor decided that they were going to come and declare war against us. Okay, someone else has joined in of Desmond. Okay, so, yes, because that's your mother, isn't it? I believe that is your mother indeed. We should be... Actually, let me see if we can just quickly change our commander here. We've got someone of a skill of 14. Okay, so that is our eldest son. Let's just see, do we have anyone better? We've got ourselves, I guess, a skill of 15 and Holy Warrior, but that's not really going to work too much for us. Anyone else? You've got a flexible leader. And fly and cautious leader, no. So we may have to take a tiny bit of a hit. And actually, yeah, you know what? Despite me just saying it, we're going to call our allies in. We're not going to call our dynasty members quite yet. Because they have so few troops, it's not really going to do anything. How goes the Conquest of England? Well, so far, nothing too much. I think you may have missed the instance in which I betrothed the 3 sons of my eldest, or second eldest son, to the 3 daughters of my eldest daughter, just so we can reinforce that claim on the Kingdom of Wessex. We did get a claim on Lancashire, but it was 70 gold. So I decided to not take that because basically the former King of Wales had formed a, what's the word? Faction against me, and he's basically declared that. So, oh, it's a good thing we actually did call in our allies, because I thought that was them just there. No. Blue Cofflam, your family tree must be like a bowl of spaghetti. It's surprisingly it's not, because up until now I have honestly been focusing on like marrying people out. So we do have quite a few, and we do actually, or we are now starting to get dynasty members kind of popping up in random little areas of the British Isles. But, okay, apparently the fact that someone is appearing in the family tree 3 times is a little bit of an issue. Because we can see here, Philip, this one, so basically, our heir's heir, so unless something majorly goes wrong, unfortunately he's in the family tree here, he's in the family tree here, and he's in the family tree over here. I don't think that's happened with anyone else. No, so unfortunately we may have some interesting scenarios where we end up with a few inbred people, but so long as we actually manage to keep our renown high and we are the dynasty head, we should be able to disinherit any unfortunate heirs. But who knows, we could get lucky and we could get that special little pure-blooded trait. Oh, okay, we did actually win that battle. That was good to see. So we're at plus 28%, and yep, we have got some allies coming in to join us, which is always nice to see. So they're going to come in and help with the siege. Let's just see how that's doing. So maximum 10 months left, whereas this one is 6 months. So yeah, because basically they've reinforced this. They've got 500 troops as a garrison, or 500 troops to kind of protect the castle, whereas unfortunately we only have 250 here. So, oh my goodness, that is a huge amount of troops. I am glad they're on our side. I am glad they are on my side. So they're going to be joining us for this siege, which means that this one... Oh, no, they're actually going to move off. That is fine. The more different territories they siege down, the sooner this potentially will be over. So they are moving off because, yeah, there is basically not enough supply here to keep them all fed. But hopefully they'll kind of wander over and start sieging some other areas. So 3 months left for that one. We've taken over, so that is 4 months, and we are now at 3 months. probably because we've got an extra 30 siege weapons from everything. Okay, that is the enemy army coming back. Oh my goodness, look at the smoke coming off that. Look at that. Wow. I don't quite think I've seen such an effective siege before. Not to my knowledge, anyway. My goodness, that is coming down fast. Yeah, 2.3 a day. So we can see here, so a base of 1. Men-at-Arms gives plus 0.8, besieging soldiers plus 0.1, and rampant disease means plus 20%. So, wow. That is a sight to behold indeed. Alright. Oh, someone... Oh, we are at death's doorstep. So, we are... Yep, we are still gout-ridden. So we'll just do no more than what is necessary. Oh dear. We may have a small issue. So, Sedwin attributed my ailments to an unsound diet, which, for gout, yes, is a very logical and reasonable conclusion, because we do know that gout is a disease, well, historically a disease of the wealthy, because it was indeed caused by an overindulgence of rich foods. So he insisted I consume only raw vegetables and herbal teas for a week. So as not to tempt me, he confiscated my stash of treats. He never returned them. The dietary restrictions did nothing to improve my state. In truth, I think I feel worse. So we can say, go away, I want to rest. So we just get worsened disease symptoms. We can yell to put our occult position in prison, but there will be an act of tyranny. Or we can outright kill him. Hello, Lion Shark. Yes, affiliate. And also, you are another one of my VIPs. And Blue Crown Flyer, indeed, my treats. No. So yes, indeed. And I've also said that Hoofkins has been in here and been exceptionally generous as well. So not only are you a VIP, you also have a gift subscription for a month. And yes, or I think you were, gosh, this is going back a while, but I do believe you were like one of the first people to actually come in and start chatting. So you definitely earned the VIP badge. So we'll just say, we go away, I want to rest for our character. So you can see that our health meter here, our heart has gone to black from the kind of goldish. Oh, school Wi-Fi rough. Yeah, I can imagine. So unfortunately, you may not be able to access any options to kind of reduce the quality of the stream, because it is kind of given out to priorities as like partners first. So hopefully you'll be able to actually get an option soon, and that siege has been long past. Okay, so we'll move up once again. Did I not? I thought I said it was Hoofkins who had been generous gifting out subs, or did I say the wrong name? If I said the wrong name, I am so sorry, Hoofkins. Blue Cauliflower, if you're using the Twitch app, you can turn on audio only mode. Yes, that is a good point. And I do tend to at least try and narrate things. Oh, Hoofkins, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I do tend to try and narrate things as best as I can. That's working? Okay, that's good. Yeah, because audio should be less demanding. Okay, right. because our characters died, we have yet another character dying at the age of 69. We have another character dying at the age of 69. So, nice. Lion Shark, nice death, yes. Indeed. Blue cornflower, why did we get a seizure? I'm not 100% sure what you mean on that, so if you're able to elaborate on that. And Lion Shark, only on the open network at your school, they give no bandwidth. Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised with that. They probably don't want too many people trying to leech off of it to do things like watch a Twitch stream at school. But yes, I'm very glad you could join us, regardless. Oh, okay, okay, thank you, Blue Cornflower. It says he died from a seizure. Yes, I'm not 100% sure if that is... Wow, okay, that may be... Honestly, that may be, Blue Cornflower, just a, like, random cause of death that the game can pull from. It could have been a situation where we had, like, gout worsened our condition, we had a seizure, and that was just what eventually killed us in the end. Lion Shark, working on dispersion photography project. Sounds interesting, definitely. And Hoofkin, seizure got him before the gout. Yes. So it does say, if we hover over the skull here, it does say died from a seizure as well. So it may just be something coded into the game. Because I know there are quite a few illnesses and things that you can die from, especially at such young an age. So I'm going to just take a quick minute or so away from the stream and just make sure I get a few things refreshed, because I know at least I need to have a tiny bit of a stretch, because I was sitting in on Odd Top's stream before this one. Blue cornflower, dispersion photography looks like people getting Thanos snapped. Okay, right, yeah. Okay, gotcha. So I'm just going to take a quick moment away and I'll be back very, very shortly. As Hufkin says, please join your cats in stretching. Cats know how to live the best life. Okay, so I didn't actually do this when we got deposed last time, so we didn't actually see our previous rulers. But let's go and have a quick look. So we did lose one title on succession, which was an earldom, simply because we are still on Confederate partition. Let's actually have a look at our lineage. So let's see, so King Rodri at age 69, King Anaward at 59, King Peter the First at 18, So yes, it's not actually showing the ruler who was deposed. It is honestly just showing the rulers that have actually died. So we now rule as King... Is that Poor? King Poor? Which is going to be an interesting name to try and remember. And yes, indeed, as Blue Cornflower said, good luck with your project line, Shark. Yeah, I can imagine doing something like the dispersion photography is going to be fairly tricky to get your mind around, but yeah, so this is now us. So we have a magnificent blonde beard. We are 28, as is our wife, and our son and heir apparent has the genius trait and is also hale. He is unfortunately engaged to his first cousin, who is comely and quick. So I'm very much keeping my fingers crossed that when they start having children, they will inherit genius rather than quick. But if they manage to land in the middle ground, that will probably be okay. Oh, okay, unfortunately our second son is ill. Our third son looks to be fine, but honestly, so long as our eldest son stays alive, that is probably going to be okay. So what do we need to do here? So we want to choose our focus, and we are going for learning, as that was our education. So what do we want to do? Let me just see, what is our piety gain? 0.8 a month. So I think we will go for, yes, the scholarship one to give us +3 learning, and also gives us a development growth of 15%, simply because I think we probably want to at least consider developing Wales as it is. And of course we need basically everyone back on the council. So we do have someone who has 23 skill in intrigue. He does have a -4 opinion, but that should go positive pretty quickly. Yep, he's now back up to 46 already, simply by the fact that he is on the council. And who is our best steward? Someone that we've actually got... Okay, someone that we knew. So this was the person that our father arrested for being a fornicator, and then went to the dungeon and quickly went to like, okay, pay me 50 gold and I'll just let you free. So we do need to do a bit of control in some of our counties rather, so we will do that. And you are still promoting cultural acceptance. So actually, let's see how well that is going. What is our acceptance for Anglo-Saxon? 35%. It's going up 0.5 a year. So unfortunately that's going to take us, yeah, 10 years to get there, but slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. And that should also mean that any English land we take over will be kind of a bit easier to manage. Okay, our wife is no longer the court tutor for some reason. No court position. Let's see if we have someone else who's better as an antiquarian. Nope. Our seneschal aptitude is average, so we could actually get our sister-in-law. Let's do that. And the court tutor, so we could put our mother in at 58 years old. So what do we want actually? Yeah, I would definitely rather someone who actually was had at least one of the intelligence traits, so we'll put her in. So we are at -3.9 gold a month for the moment, but that is honestly simply because we are just at war and we have a couple of events in the royal court that we can look at. Okay, so we've had this one before. So this is someone of a cult who is basically saying that so we are the followers of Rigad the Headless, a great holy man who has been decapitated as part of a prophecy God gave him at birth. So his head started rolling away. It ended up rolling through the lands, and as certain it rolled upon the hillock into your castle. So I'm wondering if this actually guarantees you a genius who is a lunatic, because this is the second time we've had this event, and I'm very sure that this is also the second time that said person of the cult has been a genius lunatic. So you have my leave to search the castle. We can say, let me join your cult, or I will not allow a cult to rummage through. So let me just have a look. Okay, yes, the top option, he does join our cult, so we will save that and anger our archbishop, who already doesn't really like us, so what does it matter? Okay, so unfortunately the options to marry him off are a 20-year-old who's got the quick trait, who is also ill, our 5-year-old niece, who is intelligent, or our 1-year-old niece, who is robust. Okay, we'll go for the 5-year-old. Okay, and matrilineally marry them. Puffkins, Archbishop Grumpy Pants. Yes, it definitely seems like that. Okay, and this is someone else who's saying, you've given the position to someone, why did you not do it to me? So he could become our food taster. I'm not quite sure what aptitude he has for that. So let me actually just close that and check. So food taster. Aptitude poor, so no. You are more likely to probably get me poisoned than you are to protect me. So we'll just say, oh, come off it. And of course we have an awful lot of people who've decided to come and raid us as well. Hello there, Road to Vegas. Thank you very much for following. Hope you enjoy the streams. Okay, so I thought I heard something pop up, but apparently not. So we are informed that a couple of our artifacts have low durability. Ah, okay, these are the ones that we have equipped, isn't it? Yes. Okay, right, so I think that makes a bit of sense. So the artifacts we have in our court, if we display them, their decay is minimized or nullified, presumably because our antiquarian is actually taking care of them. The personal inventory artifacts get a decay if we wear them, because obviously they are going around, like we're using them on a day-to-day basis, more or less. So the more we use them, obviously the more that they are going to decay. And we do have the money. So what does the Fine Spear give us? A bit of prowess and enemy fatal casualties. So yes. So we can pay 38 gold to repair it. Will be fully repaired and restored, or we could turn it into a pedestal item. I think we'll probably actually just repair it. And there we go. So that will be good for another 50-ish years. And how much would this cost us? 38 gold. And then this one, 13 gold to repair. So we'll leave this one for the moment because, as I've said previously, it's only giving us 0.1 prestige. Oh, we could actually ransom someone. Apparently you're not really worth anything. So 39 to inherit the earldom, which just passed from our realm. Hello, Toxic Kite. Nice to see you in the streams again. You've missed a fair bit of excitement. So, as you obviously can tell from the description, I am now officially a Twitch affiliate, and we had Hoofkins, one of my long-term viewers, chatters, and VIPs come in and give out a whole load of gift subscriptions, which was exceedingly generous of him. So far, in terms of the game, we have managed to hold on to the Kingdom of Wales. The Prior King is trying to rebel against us and return to his rightful claim on the throne. So far, we are at 29% war score in our favour. So odds are that we will be absolutely fine in terms of actually defeating him, even though it feels like we kind of had oh my goodness, okay, that is quite a few things, messages. None of those look too important. So yeah, indeed, Hufkins, some good vibes for the first affiliate stream indeed. Yes, we are indeed moving on up Toxicite. The map is pretty much... Ooh. Okay, I'm actually a bit glad I zoomed out then. So we were thinking about trying to go for this bit of land in Ireland here, but the King of Ireland has taken that over. Desmond is still independent and still allied to the former King of Wales. But this bit of land is now... Are you independent, or is it just... Okay, I think that is more they've been called in as an ally. Okay, yeah, they have been called in as an ally, so they have not become independent. They have not become independent, it's just because they are involved in the war. As we can see down here, we've called these people in on our side, and obviously the prior King of Wales has called in someone else from Wessex on his side. Everything else... Well, Italy has finally gotten out of northern France. Wessex is still taking over things, though. Anything else that has really changed? I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you went back and had a look at previous times where I've gone over the world map, you'll be able to see some changes. Oh, yes, yes. So there was an interesting war going on, but it looks like it was resolved in favour of Asturias. So they are still Catholic, they are just horrendously purple, and so they are dealing with a populist uprising at the moment. But it does mean that I think that's about half of Spain, plus potentially a little bit of Portugal, maybe. I can't remember if Portugal stretches all the way up. Anyway, about half of Spain is under Catholic control. As for the other ones, we have Andalusia, who is headed by a 1-year-old. So that is going to be very interesting. They have about 900 troops to call from. They're defending in a war. Ooh, that could be interesting as well. And then we also have this one, and... Okay, so that is quite interesting. So we've had a couple of the Spanish Muslim empires kind of stay together, but this one is headed by a 1-year-old at the moment. We've got a couple of, I think, dukedoms. Yeah, that's a duchy title, and that is a duchy title as well. And then we've got a couple of tiny little counts as well. So we may actually see a united Catholic Spain very soon, which will be interesting to see. And yeah, Hufkins, the deep purples really incite the peasantry. Thankfully we are up here in the British Isles, the land of the reds, oranges, yellows and greens, more or less. Okay, I really need to focus on the war because we have got so many different troops around. I need to make sure I know which ones are the raiders and which ones are the actual attackers as well. Okay, let's try going over here. I know we're going to lose some people from attrition, but we have so many we should be okay. Blue cornflower, what is the definition of a king in this game? So there are a couple of interesting things. So there are some titles. Let me just go and have a look to see if I can find some. So quite a few of the titles in the British Isles are called petty kingdoms, even though logically they would actually be what we would consider a duchy title, whereas for an actual kingdom, I think we only have the historical ones that are available. So if I come over here, so we can see, let me just switch over here. So in Ireland, you would have the Duchy of Munster, which is in game called the Petty Kingdom. The Isles is another one that I know that I believe is called the Petty Kingdom. And we obviously also started off as the Petty King of Gwynedd as well. I'm not 100% sure on other countries. I'm not too familiar with them. But to be a king, you basically have to... Okay, well that is interesting. Yeah, Wessex has indeed had or held Brittany long enough for it to actually be part of the Kingdom of Wessex rather than its own independent one. Does being king mean you're top of the ruling hierarchy? Nope. There is one level above that, and that is Emperor. So there are a fair few Empire level titles already in the game, mostly pretty much historic ones. But if you have enough land and titles, you can actually create your own. So if we had, let me just see, so we need 80 of the 99 de jure counties. I had it right the first time. So you need more than 80% of the de jure counties. You need 1,000 gold, and to have 2 kingdom titles in order for us to be able to create the Empire of Britannia, which is honestly going to be my main goal. Or if we come here, we could always have the option to found a new empire, which we have 2 options to do so. We either have a realm size of 120 or more, which is, I believe it counts lands held by you as well as lands held by your vassals, or our realm size is 80 or more and we hold 3 or more kingdom titles. But we would need to have 1,200 gold, 2,000 prestige and 600 piety to be able to do that, because it is intended to kind of be a bit, not necessarily challenging, but there are kind of enough empires in the world that unless you got a bit unlucky and you kind of say ended up with like kind of this section where you had enough land in your dynasty to actually form a custom empire, but you didn't have enough to form any one of the existing ones, you could do that. Toxic kite, sometimes if you have certain cultures and requirements, you can make special ones, like taking over the Holy Land as a Jewish person, you can form Israel. Yes, that is also an option. And I believe there's also a few achievements in the game as well. Hufkins, the Welsh Empress of Britannia. Yes, that is indeed what I am trying to go for. Is one of the reasons I had Wales as an option, because I wanted to do the kind of inverse of obviously England taking over Wales and pushing Welsh culture and Welsh language out. I wanted to have a bit of fun and do the inverse, where it's Wales that forms a strong power and comes in and takes over England, and everyone in England has to learn Welsh instead of the opposite way around. Just obviously for a bit of fun and amusing ahistorical events. So we are sieging down that bit of land, and it looks like we have our allies unsieging something that was taken from us. 85%. So honestly, if we come over here and just siege down the last bit of territory, we should be fine. On top, had to take off and do some work. Yeah, no problems. Thank you for obviously raiding me and having a few people pop in. Yes, thank you for hanging out, and I will see you. Hopefully I'll be able to pop into your stream tomorrow. And that actually reminds me, let me just do another quick...
Remember to stay hydrated.
I was wondering how long it would be before someone saw that and redeemed it. Yes, I will indeed take a drink. So on top is someone who I've been following and has been exceedingly helpful in my efforts to get to affiliateship. So it would be a great appreciation if people could be able to return the favour. He is doing a long stream tomorrow. It was planned as a 24-hour stream to get to 50 followers, but he managed to achieve that today. So tomorrow is instead a celebratory stream. He is planning to go for a good number of hours and do some VR escape rooms. That will be starting at 7 AM Central American Time or 1 PM GMT. And I think he would really appreciate it if we could get people there and do a give him a good audience to help him push towards affiliateship as well. So yes, please consider that if you are going to be available around 1 PM GMT tomorrow. As for us, we have just won this war, so we can enforce demands. So Prince Ithel leaves the faction and cannot leave it for 10 years. We imprison him, and we gain 20 dread. Ooh, and we do actually now have a bunch of prestige back. So let's come over here and pass Crown Authority, which means we can start to revoke titles if we so want to do. So let's actually disband all of the troops as well, and let's go in and have a look. So unfortunately your wife did manage to get out one child. No traits of note. So what we want to do, we can negotiate the release, so we can tell you to renounce all of your claims to the Kingdom of Wales. Unfortunately, we cannot banish him. He has no gold or anything of note, really. Can't really gain a weak hook. We can't tell him to take the vows because he's not officially our courtier. And, yeah, the cannot employ him as an executioner, but we are not told why is still here. So we can get him to renounce his claims. We can revoke. How many titles can we revoke? Okay, that does not, from the looks of it, that will not release him from prison. So there we go. We have now suddenly gotten a whole lot of territory back in our hands. And now what we want to do is negotiate the release and renounce your claims to everything. So because we've done it in this order, if we had got him to renounce his claims first, he would have still owned those principalities and earldoms. Whereas the way we've done it, we've taken those lands from him, and now we're telling him that you have to renounce every single claim on every single bit of land So you no longer have a claim to the Kingdom of Wales, but you no longer have a claim to any of the lands that you were previously owning. So what is going to happen to him? He is probably going to just wander off and maybe actually go and join the court in Desmond, because he obviously has his mother there, so someone that he knows. And once again, let's just have a look at cultures. 36%. So sister and friend. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Herculean. So that is the robust trait going up 1 level. Unfortunately, not the intelligent trait. So while I actually remember, this character is not too well. 2 negative traits and 1 positive trait. So let's just see. You are 8 years old. Who can we betroth you to and get some interesting traits in? Hoofkins, yes indeed, I am trying to get the super traits in. I think we will betroth you to this 8-year-old who is beautiful, just so that we can try and get all 3 of those passed down. And as for you, seeing as you do have the level 3 trait there, I think we will try and go for the intelligence trait for the next generation. Toxicite, speaking of super traits, I have a story. Go on. Yeah, go on. Put it in the chat if you want to. And we are now the new dynasty head, which is always nice to see. And what are we going to do from here? Because I imagine, having taken control of all that land... Let me see. So yes, control is a bit low, but 5 months, 5 years, 8 years, 5 years. Okay, so we'll be able to get around and control a few lands a bit better. And we probably just want to not find secrets, just generally disrupt schemes. And speaking of that... Oh, okay. So indeed, it looked like the old person who was the primary heir for the Kingdom of Wessex has died and is now once again just our son-in-law, or brother-in-law rather. Hey, someone's planning to kill my archbishop. Don't really care about that. He doesn't like us anyway. So, playing your CK game. Ah yes, this was the one that you were saying about on Tuesday, I believe it was. So, doing a reformation of Sparta and Hellenism via the Byzantine Empire. First character was a himbo and everyone loved him. Second character was a betraying arsehole but loved his wife so much that when she died he refused to remarry. Third character was a military man that made friends with many foreign and local lords, leaving the groundwork for our hero here. Somehow my son got inbred even though his parents were not related at all, literally coming from the other side of the world. I was about to console that spit out, but realised I should just be a man and take it. So as he grew up, he made a bunch of friends, had a crush and got a dog named Lady. He loved Lady. One day she ran away, but his best friend was able to find her. His mother is a giant of a woman and taught him how to speak Iberian. He's Greek. His teacher is the Marshal and became best friends with him, teaching to become a brilliant strategist. Now an adult, he's married his crush, and with his passing father leaving him alliances that remained with our boy here, he now makes moves to show he is not incapable. He died at the age of 39 due to sickness. Yes, the classic Crusader Kings story. Gosh, I think that is actually the both the Crusader Kings Crusader Kings stories. Feels CK3 man, yes. So obviously having someone who is exceptionally good and then having it all crumbling away because they died too young. And then also having the like a character who is woefully disappointing. Okay, so actually, while we're speaking about that, so Many a True Nerd on YouTube has done a couple of Crusader Kings 2 and Crusader Kings 3 playthroughs, and what that has reminded me of is his own attempt to, I think it was restore the Roman Empire and basically bring Hellenism back as well. So there's quite a few interesting things in that, but the main one that I can remember is his character was pagan, and he had, or when the character's son was born, he was named Peyron after the pagan god of thunder in that region of the world. Peyron ended up being what is the non-genetic weak trait? I think it's frail. So anyway, he got frail and a learning education, just because that was where his traits ended up pointing him to. And oh my goodness, Many a True Nerd was so disappointed in Peyron that he wasn't expecting anything of him. And then there is, I think it's episode 9, if you just basically search that up, it is called the Lunacy War of Skull Mountain. Because what happened was he got a random event twice to move a bunch of boulders off the mountain. The first one got rid of the weak trait, and the second one gave him burly. So all of a sudden, Peyron went from this scrawny, weak, essentially nerd cosplaying as the god of thunder almost, to an absolute brute of a man. And and oh my goodness, just the change in that, and the fact that the character went from someone that Many a True Nerd was going is like, oh, okay, I guess we'll have to just manage with him and try and set up the next generation, to, oh my goodness, this is the best character ever, was just amazing. So if you ever have the opportunity to have a look at that, please do so, because some of them are absolutely fantastic. And honestly, Many a True Nerd, his luck stat is basically infinity +1. Some of the situations he gets in Crusader Kings and Stellaris as well are just ridiculous. They are just ridiculous, and sometimes you have to look at it and go, how on earth did you get out of that situation? So yes, we may be emulating you a little bit, Toxic Kite, in a generation or two if we happen to get unlucky with these rolls. So we've probably still got about 10 years, I think, before we can really consider whether this is a success or failure. But let's actually just see. There are now 3 people in the world with the pure-blooded trait. So 38-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 0-year-old. Okay, you are... Yes, so these are... Well, you're definitely not going to accept an invitation to court, and you're too far away to interact with anyway. You are Lombardian, however you are also married, and you have a 13-year-old son who naturally does not have that trait at all. Toxicite, well, I'm sure glad you'll emulate my ability to get inbred through non-relating parents. A 0.01% chance that I get it. Okay, so there is actually a genuine chance in the game for it to happen. I did wonder about that. Okay, so Oldham of Lancashire, once again, 72 gold. But we can probably afford this because we do not have a faction rising up against us. Oh, and we've got a new situation. So let's have a look. A little language. Aha, nice. Greetings, my modest king. I am very interested in the upbringing of your son Philip. You see, I speak Anglic, a language I believe would be most useful for him to learn. I just need a coin for quills, ink, parchment, and some personal compensation, of course. So we can say that sounds very useful. I'll pay anything. 50 gold. Okay, so we could pay 5 gold, but we would gain 26 stress, and it's almost a 50-50 chance. Or we could say, Pa, who needs to speak anything but Brythonic? So yes, so we'll let our son learn Anglic, because if he is going to rule, that will be a very good thing for him to know. So our court grandeur is 5, baseline is 18. So let's see what can we do to bump that up a little bit. So we could pay an extra point, 2 gold a month, though we are a bit low. No, we won't do that just yet. We'll just let it naturally tick back up to 18. And who knows, we could get a few new artifacts that actually enable us to bump that up without needing to spend the money. Of course, we're now in debt, aren't we? So let's actually send you over to West Riding and see if we can get any kind of claim on the Yeldom of Lothian. Because even though he is Asatru, we can't seem to declare a holy war on him, which is an unfortunate situation. So apparently the Petty King or Duke of Lancaster is already at war with Jorvik and defending against a claim on the Duchy of Strathclyde. Okay, and Duchess Mare created the Liberty faction against you, so that is just lowering crown authority. But honestly, the only real reason I wanted that was just so that we could revoke the titles from the prior King of Wales. So it doesn't matter to me much if that needs to just be reduced anyway. So we need to educate some children. You are being educated in intrigue, so we will send our wife to go and educate you. You are in learning, so we might be the best one. Actually, no. Older is probably the best one. Just ignore any ramblings he says about people watching. And you are a military education. So our sister, who is intelligent, and fingers crossed that that means all of those children will get good educations. So intrigue, offer guardianship. So who could we do? Will not accept, yeah, foreign court. Because obviously even though it was a matrilineal marriage, they are still in the court of the King of Wessex rather than in our court. So we unfortunately don't have much control over them, at least not yet. Oh, so yes, this is also one of the situations after you gather together a bit of land in Crusader Kings 3, it almost always ends up having to be a little bit of stewardship and sorting things out. But speaking of that, let's actually have a look at our domain. So because we've got low control on some of these areas, it is actually naturally ticking up over time. So we are getting not that much gold from all of these, but we will do over time just as things progress. Okay, has that been a new message sent? No, that has not. Just looked like it. And actually, while we're just waiting for some stuff to happen, let's see. Okay, I can't do it from here, so let me just quickly go and do a few things over in my dashboard. And just make sure I'm getting the right thing. Okay, there we go. Any sort of... Is that conversion mods that's piquing my interest? If that's conversion mods, there's none that I've specifically seen. But then I haven't really been looking. There obviously have been a couple of mods that I am interested in, including which involve the one which allows you to have a court when you're a count or a duke. And there's also one which allows you to have like recipes and such, both from real life and from other games. So anyway, so we lose 20 dread and gain the law autonomous vassals, and we spend 200 prestige. Yeah, you've got 110 military, 110% military power compared to us, so yes, we will just accept that. And I think, honestly, we'll see how this war Lancaster is doing ends up. Okay, so someone is trying to claim one of the earldoms, which is fine. We should be able to manage that ourselves anyway. Yeah, I will say, Toxicite, you might want to refresh the stream if you haven't already, just to have a look at a few new things. A powerful vassal expects a council position. We could get rid of our marshal, but unfortunately, yeah, the person that wants to be on the council isn't really good at anything other than learning, and we cannot replace our archbishop anyway, so it... Oh, goodness. That is a bit of a moot point anyway. So while we're just waiting for things, let's speed up. Time our wife is pregnant. And of course, because we have 3 kids, I'm already expecting it to be a lot older than 30 years old. So for some reason we are not the house head, probably because we do not have quite as much military strength. Oh, sorry about that, Toxicite. Oh yes, I completely forgot about that, but yes, welcome to the VIP club. Yes, that wasn't intended for the ad, it was for the VIP badge status. Because obviously, well, you have been very involved in the chat with your recent visit, so I thought it would be nice to do a little bit of appreciation for that. Okay, we can hold court, so let's do that. And let's get a few things in. So, launch an investigation about an infamous preacher. This preacher is a woman, which is not in accordance with our faith. Well, Cadfael is correct in his assessment that is the preacher's only flaw. So let's have a look at her. Pretty much average, if not spectacular trait. And honestly... So we can say we need more people to spread the word of God. So preacher loved by the peasants, which reduces the control growth. We can throw her in jail. So control growth plus 0.1 a month. Or we could actually employ her as our High Almoner. That is interesting. However, she only has a learning of 6, so I don't think that is that good. So yes, we'll just say we need more people to spread the word. Okay, so, and this one is complaining. So we have someone who is of Cumbrian culture. So Duke Murphan and his ridiculous customs. So what is... Okay, Cumbrian is still Brythonic. So still kind of a sibling culture to ours. 58% acceptance. So we can say our nobility must be Welsh. Cultural acceptance between the Welsh and the Cumbrians decreases. There's much you could learn for other traditions. Welsh or not, he is a loyal vassal. Or we could say Wales is a land of many peoples. And because we are wanting to make a little bit of a multicultural kingdom, we will say that last one indeed. Okay. I think this event needs a little bit of tweaking. Because while we haven't had this in every single hold court event, this is the third time it's happened. Thankfully, at least this time, it's actually got the name of our court position in it. Thankfully, this time it actually has a name, the name of our court position. So, once again, we can have encouraged grave robbing, which reduces our popular opinion. We can say, why didn't you invite me? In which case we gain 100 learning lifestyle. We can say to arrest the grave robber or cut it off. You know what? We'll actually say, why didn't you invite me? Because there's only a 20% chance that the Oldham will get encouraged grave robbing. Yeah, it could be honestly that is just one of the options because we've got the learning focus on. That could just be one of the options. Or it could be that it's a small number of events or it's just being pulled through too often. So you've not had the chance to use the languages. I'm not really sure there's been too much of focus of it. If we actually go to our son, so we can see here, so known languages, so Brythonic and Anglic, and I've not been able to push forwards into a different culture with that language too much so far, so I can't overly say there's anything particularly special about it, but hopefully we'll be able to see in a short while. So our fourth child is a girl with the intelligent trait, and while we're actually doing it, let me just see, did you happen to have... No, you just happen to have another girl. Wait. 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 Oh dear. Oh. Okay, this could either have gone really well for us or really badly. So he was slain in battle a bit over a year ago. So probably not something that was relating to us. So obviously our niece, who is betrothed to our eldest son, now holds the Oldham of... I think that is... Okay, so that is a bit of technically France. So she holds that bit of land there. But the question is, who is now in line for the throne of Wessex? Because it is male preference. Ah. Okay, that has screwed things up a little bit. What is their troop compared to us? Vastly superior. Oh, so... Okay, let me just have a look. Okay. He has an unquest claim on the Duchy of Wessex. Ah, just on the Duchy, which is only 4 territories, so nowhere near as good as I was hoping for. But that may be because the king hasn't actually died, or this is let's lay plans. Best laid plans of mice and men. But we have, at the very least, a unpressed claim on a new duchy in England, so we can potentially start trying to chip away at it, if nothing else. So I will pick Know Thyself for our next learning perk, because that is one that, if we have a ruler when we come in who is a little bit older or isn't quite so healthy, I always tend to rush for that one, because it actually gives you a warning ahead of time if you are going to die within the next year, so you can more or less get your affairs in order. Yes, so 14 and 12, and I am actually glad that I did betroth them when I did, because there was probably no way that they would have accepted a standard betrothal with her being a ruler. Oh, and looks like Lancaster indeed took a bit of territory off Jorvik, and of course that is the fabricate claim. Let's see. Okay, so the Earldom. So no, we will not do that. We will probably wait and see if we can actually get the Petty Kingdom title. How is your military superior to ours? Okay, so this is going to be a situation where it is honestly just not sitting around and waiting for things, but we are going to need 4 years. Okay, so this is all 4 years. But we are going to need to build up our military strength, build up our money, get our territories better under control. Oh! Wessex may have just split apart. Yes, it did. Wessex has just split apart. So, what happened here? Gobble gobble, yes indeed. So this is a very interesting... So yes, he did indeed just die last month. So he was holding together both the Kingdom of Wessex. So yes, England is now ruled by this 0-year-old child. Toxicite gobble gobble and Huffkins, I'd like 1 slice of Wessex, please. Yes, indeed. So potentially... So the King of England is a 0-year-old child who has a military strength of about 1,000. The Kingdom of Wessex has almost 6,000 if you include them and allies. So because of that, let's actually have a look once more. And I know this is a very, very inefficient method. Okay, yeah, so she just honestly has... Because her father died before that happened, unfortunately it doesn't look like he... because he died before the kingdom split, he didn't get any claims, which means the only claims that his daughter has are the claims that he had when he died. But that could be very interesting. Yes, that was exactly what I was actually thinking, Toxicite. It is probably going to be a lot better to actually try and go for England now than it is going to be to go for Wessex. Especially as, okay, England's capital is all the way down here in France. That is definitely going to be an interesting situation. So let's see. So claim on the duchy. So what duchies do we want? Probably Mercia is going to be the best one. And though I don't think it matters exactly where you put your councillor, we will put you here and see if we can actually try and chip away at England for at least a little bit. Because honestly, I'm not 100% sure how well a 0-year-old is going to manage ruling the kingdom. And if he dies, we are going to have a 40-year-old female ruler. And then let me just see. Kingdom of England. So where does the line of succession go down to? Okay, to a 9-year-old, then a 2-year-old, and then an 11-year-old. So we have kind of got a long line of children and female rulers, which is definitely going to be an interesting situation. But yes, indeed. Like, Toxicite, nonsense. China had a toddler on their throne before. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. So I am slightly disappointed that, what's the word? Regencies don't seem to be in Crusader Kings 3, because as boring as it potentially was to kind of be a child ruler and not really be able to do anything, there were also still some fun events. So I cannot remember the name of the character, but in Crusader Kings 2, in I think it's about the year 1230, there's a female ruler who has lost 2 husbands, and you basically, I can't remember if she was, I think she may have been down here, I can't 100% remember, but anyway, when you start the game as her, she's lost 2 husbands already, so you have to try and find someone else to get her matrimonially married to. And in the game I played, she had 2 children, like 1 boy, 1 girl, and then she ended up dying pretty young, and her son ended up ruling from the age of like 5 years old. So what can we... Okay, fornication once again. So her son was ruling from the age of about 5 years old with a regent. And the regent managed to convince everyone that he was basically completely incapable and couldn't rule anything. So he got the incapable trait, even though from playing him he was far from being incapable. And then when he was about 12 years old, we got a game over, and I was informed that my character died comatose in bed, which honestly I just read as the regent was getting so sick of trying to pretend that the kid was incapable that he just smothered him in his sleep. Oh dear. So our wife has died in childbirth, and our daughter, apparently we were going to be having a daughter, both unfortunately died. So we need to find ourselves a new spouse. And I think as our inheritance is pretty strong, we could probably find someone who is... Let me reset to defaults. So infertile. And what stat are we lacking in? Stewardship. So let's have a look. And we obviously don't want to neglect the other traits for too long. Or too much, I should say. So we've got someone here. Okay, 64 years old. And actually, let's have a look at military as well while we're going. Because that was one that is also a little bit lacking. Okay. I think we could probably go for this person. Oh, no, actually, nope. We'll go for hit. We'll go for her. So, chance of children, none. But that person is a... She is... Okay, a genius lunatic. I didn't see the lunatic thing. Whoops. But anyway, she has the genius trait, which means that all of her stats get +5, which should give us a good bonus to our overall work. And we need a new chancellor. Genius lunatic. Unfortunately, she is too old to have children. She is 51 years old. So unfortunately, we cannot add her to the bloodline. Ooh, that's interesting as well. So, okay, our son and heir has grown up, a level 2 education, which is fine. However, so Let me just have a look. Okay, no, I'm reading this the wrong way. So I thought this was the new king had just been deposed, but no, it was someone trying to rise up against the new king and has basically completely failed. And yes, someone plotting against my brother. Okay, and we've got another heresy here. So let's have a look at this one if we can. Actually go to this and other faiths. So we can also see like all of the other Christian faiths that are in existence. Some of them, I believe, do start in the game by default. Some of them, like Messalinianism, just kind of pop up as a random event. As we can see here, it just has one county in it. So compared to standard Catholicism, which has armed pilgrimages, communion and monasticism, Messalinianism has carnal exaltation, which makes lustful a virtue, divine marriage, which basically means that marrying close kin is highly encouraged, and esotericism, which is about not divination as such. I can't think of the right words for it, but it's basically where you potentially use let me have a look. So here we go. Incense, chants and odd cantrips. So kind of using methods to try and connect yourself to the spirits and the wider realm. And Toxicite, the right religion, sign me up. And Hoofkins, they sound like a lot of fun at parties, yes. So we can actually have a look at some of the other ones as well. So Adamitism is an interesting one. So I do have it set in my game so that I've disallowed nudity. But so yes, so communal identity, sanctity of nature, and natural primitivism. Adherents do not wear clothes. That is always a fun one to see pop up, because you will be scrolling across various character portraits and then you will just suddenly see, oh, you're naked. Okay, I'm going to move on. What else have I seen that's interesting? Iconoclasm or iconoclasts, which tends to come up from a orthodox. That tends to more come from an orthodox heresy, I believe. Other ones are Cathars, I think, was another interesting one in Crusader Kings 2. But obviously, due to the changes in faiths for Crusader Kings 3, it's not as intriguing as it was in Crusader Kings 2, because we can do a lot of what that one does with our own religion reformations. And Huffkins, please put on your complimentary fig leaves when you enter Posy stream. Yes, please. So you do have fig leaves covering the private areas, but other parts are very much yes, very much. I would have to mark these streams as only really for mature audiences if I had nudity allowed, and I might actually even get banned or get a warning if I didn't have that toggle on. It is very revealing. So anyway, we will say just what twisted mockery of our faith is this? Oh, I'm sorry. Starting to get hiccups again. So wherever that popped up. I can't 100% see. It honestly looks like we had... I cannot remember what offshoot of Catholicism we had last stream, but it looks like they disappeared. Toxicite. This is a Catholic stream here. Only Bibles. Okay, so Oldham of Warwickshire. That is once again 72 gold. We can't really afford it. And another learning perk. So if we so wanted to, we could actually go down the theologian route and actually try and reform or create a new Christian faith if we so wanted to. So we can see here that this will cost us over 4,000 piety. But we could, going down the route of theologian, so where is it? There is one of these. Oh, there we go, profit. So faith creation and reformation cost minus 50%, so that halves it. And then obviously as you go down, you start getting higher and higher monthly piety gains. So if you have a character that's focused on trying to reform the religion from the start and you have it planned, if you have all of the holy site or the 3 holy sites under your control, you can tend to do it reasonably quickly. Oh, and here we go, Stone of Glass. So we have an option to try and find essentially a, yeah, we're still just about in the 10th century, a 10th century monocle. We're passing, heading to bed. Yep, absolutely fine. Have a good evening, and I will hopefully see you again in the stream on Saturday. So yeah, good night, and of course take care yourself. Okay, so we can gain 300 learning lifestyle, and our Archbishop gains a weak hook on us. We can say we need a stone and pay 50 gold, or sell everything which is impossible to read. And I think we will do this one because it will lose us a tiny bit of stress and get us a bit of money. And our dynasty, ooh. Okay, who are you and why do you want it? Your military strength is similar to ours. Your wife does not look good. Oh dear. So yeah, she unfortunately has the ugly trait, and she is also a drunkard. And she's also pregnant. Hopefully being drunk does not affect the baby too much. He has light troops and skirmishers. Good eye. Good eye. What is my combo? Not much, because we don't actually have that much money. So we have 100 armoured footmen and 10 onagers or onagers. I'm still not 100% sure what the correct pronunciation is. Okay, so we want to obviously rally the troops, and we can call in allies and dynasty members. You have 500 and something troops, and you have 500 and something troops. So yes, we'll call all of you in. Might take a bit of time for them to come through. So which bit of land are you after? This bit up here. So honestly, if we probably go up there and defend it. And then come over here. Okay, so just about even. Nope, we are going to lose. Hopkins, onager is pronounced GP while calling her. You know what I mean. Okay, so we've been given some samples of seeds. Plants he claims are good for health and mind. So only a 23% chance we'll gain herbalist. 64% we will gain seeker of knowledge for 10 years. So yes, we'll use them to start a private garden. Toxicite, I hate how it took me a sec to realise what you said till I read it out loud. Okay, so this one I tend to just always go with I should consult more priests for the age of the world. And Hopkins, I'm a shameful Twitch chatter. Okay, so our second son has grown up. He has a 3-star education, but unfortunately he is homosexual. So the odds of him having children is lessened, but not impossible. Okay, oh, sadly one of our brother was slain in battle. But we do have a decent amount of troops at our disposal here. And we have got a siege going on, so we'll send our troops down there. Toxicite, good fortune. Let's see if the Pope is looking like a snack. Okay, right. So what are odds? So Ellis, this is you. Okay, you don't really have that. I mean, okay. You are an open terrain expert. Yeah, let's just say hand me the tourniquet. That's 100% success rate, and having a new knight like that would be a good thing to have. But our odds going to be there even. So let's actually come over and start trying to siege some of his territory down. Okay, Eldom of Warwickshire. Nope, but hopefully we're going to be able to get something else. Who can get married is indeed our son and heir to our niece. Unfortunately, our full niece and not necessarily a half niece or anything of the like. Okay, so that's gotten us down, or up to 61%, I should say. So if we send our troops back over here. Okay, a new translation. So new translation of a classic work. Or we can have a look at the Court of Agriculture. Okay, so if this is actually going to give us any benefit for anything, the Secret of Secrets bestowed to Alexander could give us an advantage in military might if that is indeed Alexander the Great, or the Court of Agriculture could actually help us with development. I think I'll go with that one. We'll go for that one. Okay, so we can force ourselves through the translation, so we will gain a tiny bit of stress, but the quality will improve. Scribes can take on more of the responsibility. We lose 2 gold, or need a break. No, we'll force ourselves through it. We don't have that much stress. Okay, and our third son has come of age. He is heterosexual, and that actually reminds me, okay, yep, our oldest son is heterosexual. Toxicite, you made me realise they didn't add bloodlines. Can't claim to be the spawn of Alexander and get an invasion CB. Yes. Yes, maybe they'll add that in the future when they actually potentially do a bit of dynasty management. So, Duke Merdin comes in to pledge allegiance. New lifestyle perk. Mental resilience, so we get time between, or more time between mental breaks. So, okay, and a new translation. So Archbishop, 50-50 chance, but the translation quality will improve at least slightly, versus spending a tiny bit of prestige and improving slightly. No, we'll do the 50-50 chance, because that actually gets us the option without spending a little bit of prestige. And it's past midnight, so it improves significantly. translation will improve slightly, but be concluded faster. No, we'll go to sleep and make sure that we are well rested, which is always good advice for everything. There we go. Duchy of Mercia. We have the Duchy of Mercia. So we will say all of Mercia will be mine. We unfortunately will lose 154 gold, which puts us into a significant amount of debt. But hopefully we're at 74%. And there we go. So we've got an excellent translation. So that gives us 1 piety, 0.25 prestige, and plus 10 clergy opinion. So yes, this is very interesting indeed, Toxicite. As before, we were very, very much struggling with everything, and we were almost considering a complete do-over of the game. We are now about to lose that battle. That wasn't great. Okay, so as I'm out for a stroll, a merchant calls me over, insisting he has something that will pique my interest. Drying herbs and foreign tinctures is rifling through his collection of dusty tomes and other treasures. The merchant produces an old book and insists I need it for what is to come. So fine, I'll bite. We'll lose 50 gold and receive a book artifact. We can come to an agreement, so 39% chance. We can negotiate a better price and only spend 15 gold. Or 60% chance we spend the 50 but also 75 prestige. We can just take it. Or we can say, what need do I have for your books? So what are we as a character? So we are cynical, deceitful and humble. So the thing is, doesn't really seem like someone who would necessarily just say, yeah, I'm not buying it, you're giving it to me. So we'll say perhaps we can come to an agreement. No, unfortunately. So what do we have here? So as I'm putting away my newly acquired scriptures, a slip of parchment falls out. Upon it are instructions for a practice called bibliomancy, where one might divine their future from a passage in a book. All I need to do is open this text to a random spot and read the first fateful verse my eyes might fall upon. So this is just a standard artifact. It gives us 0.1 prestige a month, but also 5% monthly learning lifestyle experience. So that is actually a nice one, and it will be inherited along with the Kingdom of Wales. So the temptation is overwhelming. We might gain a lifestyle perk, or I'll have nothing to do with this unholy practice. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so fear is the mind killer. A coward dies 1,000 tiny deaths, yet a valiant man dies but once. What am I to make of this? So fear is the little death that brings total obliteration for 50 learning. Require further research. So 88% chance, 100 learning lifestyle experience. We gain a focused reading for 3 years, which gives us +1 learning, 75 prestige. Or 11% chance, the passage eludes me, 50 learning lifestyle, but we gain tenths for 2 years, which reduces our learning by 1 point and gives us +10% stress gain. We can say what utter nonsense, and we gain 13 stress, but we might also gain the trait paranoid. Or we can say our antiquarian should look at it. So 78% chance, discover the true meaning. So focused reading for 1 year versus 3 years. Yes, we'll go for further research. Right, wrong one. We unfortunately got the 11% chance. So we can ask our Archbishop for 85% chance. Courtier, this is our wife, 92% chance, or we could just go, I give up. And that's that is fairly amusing, the fact that we are both going to lose and gain stress from that. Okay, we'll ask help from our wife. And she has indeed clarified the passage. So we finally cracked the mysterious passage and feel much wiser for it. Fear may well be the mind killer, but I have faced my fear. And also, apparently, not that one. Okay, it's popped away, but apparently, because we're not the head of the house, someone else has come through. Oh, thank God. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. So, we're not the head of the dynasty, so someone else had the opportunity to unlock one of these legacies. And thank goodness they went for architected ancestry. However, I can't quite see which trait they chose. I can't quite see which trait they chose, but hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's a good one. And yes, okay, so we did lose that siege, so we are retreating back to our own lands. We are at 53% war score, but unfortunately we're being raided by someone. So what do we have the option here? Fine battle axe. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what that one is. So that is another weapon artifact. So we have currently equipped the Fine Spear, which gives us +1 prowess and enemy fatal casualties +2%. Versus a Fine Battle Axe, prowess 3 +3 and knight effectiveness +2%. Yep, so let's indeed equip that one. And also in our royal court we have a book that we can put on display. And I was going to say, thank goodness. I was going to say, okay, is that just going to be us putting the book on the floor? Hopefully not. And okay, so we've got someone who has an inspiration to forge a crown. She has no real positives or negatives, and of course we don't have nearly enough gold for it either. So we could go for white piece on this if we wanted to. And what happens if we enforce demand? So we would get a bunch of money actually. So I think we'll just keep pushing through. Okay, let's try and chase after you. Oh, that is going to be very... Okay, that's a defeat. Toxic Eye, I was low-key hoping the book was going to be put on the floor. This is the royal book. Please do not trip over it. Oh, okay, and our antiquarian has unfortunately died. So we have people who are average. Let's put one of our sons in the position just to get someone... Just to have someone there. If someone else is fabricating a claim, and I think honestly we'll just go for white piece on this. We don't really have anything that we want to try and push for, and honestly the more we try and push through, I think just the worse it's going to get, especially with how in debt we are. Oh, and we've got another...
Remember to stay hydrated.
That's the other one. Thank you, Jesse. I will indeed finish off my drink. Okay, so there's still a few issues. Giselle has a book inspiration, but unfortunately it's not quite telling us what she wants to write about. Her skill is legendary and renowned throughout all the world. So if we had 181 gold, we could try and get a book written. And yes, Toxicite, I was really hoping that we would actually get some kind of pedestal for the book, because I was having a minor panic at the idea that it was just going to be thrown on the floor. Because I am sorry, I am one of those people. I am one of those people that just finds books ridiculously precious, and I just hate the idea of them being damaged. So I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it's kind of like an effective method of torture for me. Get a book, open it up, rack the spine, fold the pages down, write on the pages, and that is just, no, 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 no. Do not do that. Do not defile a book. Flaming book emote when from Hoofkins. I may have to put that down on the list. I was actually taking an opportunity during my lunch break yesterday to start drawing a few emotes before I actually got the affiliate email in. So we do have the standard 4 cat and 1 person emotes that Twitch gives people just to use from the start, because obviously they're anticipating that not everyone's going to be 100% ready when they get affiliate ship. Yes, I imagine there are going to be a couple of book emotes, and also probably 1 or 2 actually of Ollie himself / American Curls in general, because I just find them so adorable. And Jazzy, is that you agree with me on the book torture then, I see. Okay, okay, so this is another one of the saucy books. So we can say culture comes in any form, let them read. So we gain 300 learning lifestyle, and this is available due to our high learning skill. So as I've said before in the past, if we have an option that is there mainly because of our traits, I will more often than not go for it. So there we go. And of course our court grandeur keeps on flipping between 2 and 3. We can get hold of body, and let's go for this one, which enables our wards to get better education. So this won't really apply for many of our children, so we can actually educate our daughter here. And okay, so we do need to get you to learn the language before they become an adult. Okay, so no, we have 3 French people and 1 Croatian, so we can't really get her to learn Anglic either. And we probably need to find you a decent husband. Let me just make sure we flick the filter back to the opposite option. Okay, I'm going to quickly pretend I didn't see that. I'm going to very quickly pretend I didn't see that. Okay, so you are 6 years old, so we could go a bit older. Probably not quite 21 years old. So I will pin you just to keep you in mind. That is our nephew. Oh yeah, and we have someone here who's inbred but did get the comely trait. We've got a 7-year-old here. Reinforce that intelligent trait. We've got a 5-year-old here with Herculean. Yes, I think we will go for that 5-year-old that's got Herculean. So, matrilineal betrothal. Yes, they will accept it. And let me see. So, and yeah, Toxic Hype, that did sound like the beginning of a joke. 3 Frenchmen and a Croatian walk into a bar. So, our player heir and son, who is married to our niece / his cousin, they have actually had a child. So if you did manage to see them on the character select screen just now, please please don't spoil this. But who wants to put their hand up and say they think the child has gotten good traits, and who wants to put their hand up and say that the child's got the inbred trait, just out of interest, just so we can see what people's opinions on that are. And of course that has reminded me that I was going to set up a poll ahead of this stream, but that hasn't apparently happened. Okay, Toxicite and Hoofkins have both said that the kid is going to be inbred. Anyone else got any opinions on that? Oh, and yes, we need to increase control in some of these territories as well. So 19 months. Yep, let's put that down there. So I'll just unpause and let things go. So, Mayor of Vicenza. And we can hold court again, so we'll wait a moment on that. So anyway, drum roll please, people. The son is not inbred. Not inbred. And if he lives, he has the genius trait. So we can strengthen the bloodline when we play as him. Because you need one from the beauty trait, which he has. One from the strength trait, which he has. And the one of the intelligence trait, which he has. And one of them must be tier 3, which this one indeed is. Please don't be too salty, Toxicite. I can't help it if the game rolled in my favour. I think, honestly, the sole better way that could have gone is if he also had the pure-blooded trait. Just to get really lucky on that one. Okay, so you're not actually... Okay, neither of you are old enough yet. But yes, oh my goodness, that was so lucky. So I don't know how we're actually going to be able to tell what trait is the one that's being reinforced in the family. But honestly, with this kid here, I'm not really sure I care that much. I'm not really sure I care that much. I think obviously if we got him betrothed to his first cousin once removed, I think that will probably be chancing it a bit too much. But yes, we will go once again and hold court. So who do we have here? Oh dear. Okay, so this looks like just a generic event, though it is going to cause us a load of stress in 3 out of 4 options. A frightful peasant strolls all too close before a guard steps between us. Ooh, he backs off with a wink, laughing through scant teeth. Your lordness, I come here from Abertiffy with a matter of great import. His eyebrows undulate. You're seeking. The reeve's wife's sister swore she could make a better wine than the brewer's wife, and of course they were just a tie, and then the husbands got involved. So, you don't say, please go on. So we gain common touch for 10 years. So vassal opinion -5, but popular opinion +20. And apparently we are stressed enough that 22 is going to tip us over. We can tell our steward to go and fix it. So our steward loses 15 opinion, but the dispute gets settled. We can turn him into our court jester. Or we can go, what? How did this man get in? Anyone? So we would gain high falutin for 10 years. So +5 vassal opinion, but -20 popular opinion. Yeah, we'll go and tell the steward to go and fix it. And this is one of our vassals saying that this person would make a good knight. Got 14 prowess. And he's an open terrain expert. Yes, indeed, you can become a knight. I have a question, people. I have a question. This person is imprisoned by the King of Sweden. How is he able to come and petition us? How is he able to come and petition us? Paradox, I think you need a flag check here. I think you need a little bit of a flag check here. So anyway, he is saying cage with wheels. All the way from Sweden, apparently, as well. All the way from Sweden. So your half-brother, Chieftain Odir, currently sits on the throne of the Inri Thuthreya. I think that's how you pronounce it. We can't actually see quite where that is, but it's a county, and I'm not willing to go to war with a random chieftain just because. So we can say it's a beautiful day for war. We'll recruit him to the court and we'll gain a strong hook on him. He's not honestly even that great. Please depart at once. I cannot risk offending the chieftain. Oh, we can say, I cannot help you, but please enjoy my hospitality, and he will move to our court. Of course, I chose the last option, and nope. He is still imprisoned. Who would have guessed that? Who indeed would have guessed that, you know, he may have still been imprisoned. So where is his brother, anyway? Oh. Oh, okay, it's just the Isles. Right. Oh. So we could have potentially got the Isles under our control because he is a independent ruler. That is a shame. Hello, Ollie. Ugh. Wet kitty kisses. Wet kitty kisses. He just basically came up and smeared his nose against my chin. I might complain, but he is a cute little kitty. Hello there, Canadian Jedi 77. Thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoy the streams. So we can apparently ransom someone for 10 gold. Let's indeed do that. We can ask our head of faith for gold. We will spend 250 piety, but we will get 100 gold, and that will get us out of debt a little bit faster. So, a shady discussion. Two courtiers are talking to each other in a secluded spot. While it's hard for me to make out most of the words from a distance, it is clear that the discussion relates to Lady Marared. And this is our steward, so we can say we must warn her. We can get a bit closer, which is an intrigue challenge. I must know what they're doing, or what they're hiding, so we will talk to them. Unfortunately, only a 44% chance of success. Or we can say it's probably nothing. So we'll chance and try and get a bit closer. Okay, so they are discussing her private life and some unsavory habit, which is a child's heritage. Okay, fine. Hookins. Oh, cat nose kiss. Yes, unfortunately, it's not too great when obviously I am trying to stream. And actually talking about that, it is getting close to his dinner time, so I will just take a quick moment, or a quick moment's break, to go and get him his dinner, and then he'll probably just settle down and sleep in his little box once again. So honestly, I think that actually may be the emote I use for Ollie, is just him curled up sleeping in the box. Maybe with a couple of little Z's over it as well. So yes, I'll be back in a couple of moments. It shouldn't be that long. Okay, I was hearing that, I was hearing things blipping away. Yeah, Toxicite, brave to let time go by. Well, to be honest, I wasn't overly expecting anything major to happen anyway, and any events that pop up, like say this, or a war declaration, or a faction, it would have paused the time anyway, so nothing too major would have happened. If I was playing something like RimWorld, yeah, if I was playing something like RimWorld, I definitely would have paused. So we've been studying the stars, so we can 50 learning experience and life insight into the heavens. Actually I think we'll do this one, so we will gain a bit more faith, and this is a just getting the marriages confirmed. There we go. And an empty council position, so we will just put you there. I think that is good enough. Our marshal has a skill of 14, so even though there are 2 people who want to be on the council, they are not good enough, so we will just ignore them once more. So how is England doing? You are 7 years old. Your military strength is superior, so you are allied to Somerset and... oh, we have a United Ireland. So they okay, so right, so just a random event saying that apparently one of our people led his sister into sin. So anyway, how are you allied? So between Nesta, okay, I have no idea how that has actually happened, but yes, apparently they are now have a superior military strength to us, unfortunately. And also Wessex has a superior strength. So did we what did we get as a claim on them? I cannot remember whether it was the Duchy or not. Toxicite. Oh, the sun. Sin, not sun. And yeah, not sin. Okay, so how on earth... so these are both Tanistry elective. And okay, this looks like it is going to split up a little bit. Unfortunately, only the earldoms rather than anything major. But who are you allied with? I'm going to have to actually specifically look this up. Oh. Hello. Hello. Should I do it? Cat. Should I do this? So I'll just do a quick explanation for people who are unaware. So the pure blood trait is a trait that can very, very rarely pop up. And it basically gives you a boost to your fertility and health, and also decreases the inbreeding chance of 50%, which basically means if we can get this trait into our bloodline, into our dynasty, there is a chance, as Toxic Kite says, there is a chance it could happen, and it would mean that if we manage to get it through our dynasty, then we could actually be marrying off cousins and trying to reinforce those genetic traits with less chance of the children getting the inbred traits. And yes, as Hufkin says, so many nice inheritable traits indeed. Oof. Yeah, you know what? I am actually going to do it. I am actually going to do it because I think The chance of this happening to us again. Right, so she's 2 years old and our grandson is 1 year old. Yeah, okay. Let's get the two of them betrothed. And, ooh. So he's actually had a sister as well who has exactly the same traits as her. Toxicite, go explain the in-character reason. I can't. Okay, so we're humble, deceitful, and cynical. Nah, I can't justify that with an in-character reason. That is solely the puppet master, the man or woman behind the curtain. So we do have a fair amount of debt left. Let's see. You have not been able to produce a child yet. You are still too young. And let me just see how your betrothed is doing. Absolutely fine. My immersion! No! Yeah, it's one of these things where obviously you could argue about me betrothing my grandsons to my nieces. Or rather, yeah, or my sons to my nieces / their cousins. Some of the other things, not so much. Okay, someone's planning to kill a random person. We won't worry about that. Of course, I can just have a look. So the Duchy of Mercia. Okay, so it was the Oldham. So just the one county of Lancaster. So let's actually get our... or Lancashire, rather. Why do I keep on saying Lancaster? It's not even in the same area. So hopefully we might actually be able to get a duchy claim on that. Or the... Yes, I was going to look at that, wasn't I? And then I got distracted. And then I got distracted. But yes, we will pin her as well, just so we can get that in. So this is... Let me just pause. So... Character name matches Nesta. Which is... this person. Married to... Okay, so you are married to the son of the King of Ireland. But I have no idea who you are. Oh, you're right. Okay, so basically we need to kill you. We need to kill you. 12%. Predicted agents 0. Um, 27% chance. Let's see if that one has any success. Okay, so apparently we've got some people who want independence. Who are you? The Isle of Man. And we can't invite anyone. Okay, so that will take 8 years to potentially come to fruition, if it comes to fruition at all. But if it does... Okay, I think this is honestly about the time that we should actually start thinking about marriages and alliances, rather than necessarily trying to marry for stats and traits. But unfortunately you're not in our call, so we can't do any of that. Okay, I think we are probably in an okay place. Ah, okay, so unfortunately you now know that we want to murder your sister. You are not going to be happy with us. Oh no, you are absolutely fine with us. Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. So this is the first time I have actually seen someone come to our court and actually do something other than just bend the knee and say that they are and offer their loyalty. So my vassal Duchess Winwen has arrived outside my castle with a grand procession of well-dressed diplomats, knights, and exotic entertainers. The fellowship resembles a parade led by Wenwen herself. In a booming voice, she announces she is here to pay homage, and she comes bearing gifts of gold. Such generosity is hard to find in her subject. Her loyalty is something to treasure. So this is our spy master, so we definitely want to keep her on our good side. So please enter, deposit the gold on your left. So we gain 50 gold, gains 15 opinion of us, and we gain 75 prestige. We can say, surely you must have more to give. So we get 75, but she loses 30 opinion. Or we can say, keep the gold, your friendship is enough. And we do kind of need the gold. And yeah, toxic IT. If I happen to find another pure person with the pure blood trait, yes, that will be a very difficult challenge. Okay, so open-minded. And let's have a look at the culture. 42% acceptance. So I think, okay, it's just gone past 9 o'clock. Let us do... Okay, no, we can't do this. Unfortunately. Okay, so it's going to cost us 1,000 prestige. Whoops. Okay, but we can have a look. We can have a look. So honestly, I think language we're going to keep as Brythonic. And so we could keep Stoic, which gives basically everyone a small health boost, minus 15% in stress gain, and minus 15% friendly fatal casualties. And all Welsh holdings will also get a +5 defender advantage. Or we could go for bureaucratic, so monthly lifestyle experience +5% and cultural fascination progress +15%. And all Welsh counties gain a 15% development growth. Now, I think I like that one better. Heritage is from what I've seen, is more of an aesthetic choice than anything specific. But basically, if we keep with Brythonic, then the other cultures that we have in Ireland and Scotland will have +20 cultural acceptance baseline with us. Whereas if we go for West Germanic, then it will potentially help us with Germany. But once again, I think we will stick with Brythonic because we are planning on just taking over the British Isles, at least for the moment. So this I am going to clear out. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7, and we can pick up to 5 of these traditions. So I was having a look at this in a kind of alternate universe one. So what I'm definitely going to do is pick herds. So we can recruit Huskarls, and traits such as strong or hale are seen as prestigious. The strong trait is more common. Children are more likely to get the rowdy trait, so more likely to be military focused, and less likely to get pensive, which is the learning one, I believe. So unfortunately, cultural fascination progress minus 15%. But because we're bureaucratic, that will even it out. Let me see. So I think we also want to keep Highland Warriors. City Keepers, maybe. City building construction time minus 25%. The Witten Agamot, so can enact the Saxon elective, which I think is just a standard elective one. So there is a risk that obviously the the kingdom title could go out of your dynasty, unlike Tanistry. Longbow competitions could be interesting. So unfortunately, where we are at the moment, the longbowmen are actually worse than just the standard archers, but it does say that they get increasingly better every era, so if we're willing to be patient, we could go for that one. Maritime mercantilism. So coastal holdings in counties of this culture provide an additional 10% tax, and considering we are basically surrounded by water, I think that is going to be a very good one to choose. So we have 3 currently selected, so we could choose up to 2 more. So for now, I'm going to actually just leave it at that, and all of these should be available on the Crusader Kings 3 wiki for people to look at at their leisure. So if there are any opinions on whether I should take one specific one over another, people can feel free to weigh in. Because despite my excitement, that is probably going to have to wait for the next stream on Saturday. And aesthetics, so we get no option for military equipment. It is just going to be continental European. Now, I admit it's tempting to move over to Anglo-Saxon just because I find those a bit easier to pronounce. But we will merge, so we will use names from both cultures. Architecture, we don't have a choice. Coat of arms, I think we will use both because we are trying to merge the culture, of course. And fashion, we can either choose continental Europe, which is the current one that we are using, or we can go for Northern Europe and continental European, which I think that one might be interesting because it allows us the option of both. Toxicite. Meanwhile, being American, names are hard. Yeah, so I did have to bring up a pronunciation guide for the first few episodes, and I may have to keep it on hand. But, well, at the very least for English, sorry, not English, Welsh, the pronunciation is standard. It's just obviously trying to remember all the rules. And Hufkins, I vote that Welsh comes first. Welsh or Anglan sounds so much better / dumber. Yes, so it should, So yes, Wales or Welsh should definitely come first, because obviously this is a Welsh culture that is starting to induct Anglo practices in rather than the other way around. So we unfortunately won't be able to do it, so we need 600-ish prestige, and we gain not quite 4 a month, so that will take us 150 months, so about 12 years, give or take a few things, presuming of course our character lives for 12 years anyway. He should do, because he's only 40 and he does have the hail trait, which gives a small boost. Oh goodness no, Toxicite, you're making me want to make the Celtics and completely butcher naming conventions. Oh goodness. Oh goodness, yeah. I admit I'm a bit surprised that I haven't had any comments correcting me on my Welsh pronunciation. So either I've been actually doing a half decent job, or no one who really knows Welsh pronunciation has been watching these videos. I prefer the idea of the former, that I've actually been doing a half decent job. Oh goodness, but yeah, Irish names are even more complex for me. So who can we declare wars against? So Lancaster for the Eldom. This one, which we can go for the Isles. Currently it's saying we can declare war against England, even though their military strength is superior to us. Toxicite, when you start playing an American map, we'll talk about how to say things. Yes, yeah. So I have a few friends in the United States that I've actually met up with a couple of times. and there was one place that I was actually asked to try and pronounce. Let me just try and find it. So a city in North Carolina, I believe it was. And so this friend of mine wrote it down and held it up and went, "How do you pronounce it?" It's like Fayetteville or something similar, even though it is, as I would naturally read it, Fayetteville. It was just honestly Fayetteville. And maybe even not that much. It was basically 80% of the letters were not pronounced in it whatsoever. But then I can't really comment when we have let me see, does it even exist? Let me see, does it exist? I'm not 100% sure it will. Oh, especially seeing as some of these have the old Viking-esque pronunciations as well. So I know exactly how this one is pronounced, because I know the modern vernacular. That's Southwark. But we have things like Loughborough, which let me just put in. That is how Loughborough is pronounced. So I don't really have a leg to stand on when I say about place names like missing 80% of their words. Jazzy Mai, what are leptons? Well, there are two answers to that. One answer is that they are my channel loyalty points. The other is that they are an elementary particle in physics. And leptons, or at least anti-leptons, are what actually make up positrons. So that is where the name comes from. And as I said, so electrons are made up of leptons and positrons are made up of anti-leptons, but I kind of thought anti-leptons may have been a bit too confusing. Jazzy, so smart, I love it. Yeah, it's just like a little in-joke that I liked, and I was actually thinking about seeing if I could make the subscription badges based around other elementary particles like quarks. Toxicite, the nice sounding lady said things I don't understand. My brain go burr. Yeah. Okay, leptons are basically some of the building blocks of atoms. They're basically the building blocks of atoms, just like quarks are. It's just something that I enjoyed when I was studying physics, was just learning about all of those things. So all of those gravitons, gluons, muons, leptons, quarks. So yeah, just a nice little nod in my mind. But anyway, yeah, so there are obviously quite a few places in England that have some unusual place names because they were written in, say, like Old English, or were named by Norse invaders. And of course the pronunciation has mostly stayed the same for a bunch of them, but the way it's spelt has changed just a little bit over times. So it's like here, or pretty much pronounced, or the Worcester and Worcestershire. And oh my goodness, the number of times I've seen an American food channel where they're talking about Worcestershire sauce, and it's Worcestershire. It's like, no, Worcester or Worcestershire. Okay, so this is our daughter. So, following the death sentence of a lowly thief, she expressed doubts about whether any god could want a realm to be ruled by such a harsh law. So she would get cynical, which is what we are. The other options are just or temperate, and we are none of those. So yes, we will just leave it at the top option. Okay. That I am thankful for. So the third child only, quote, or in quotation marks, has the intelligent trait. However, we could potentially get her betrothed to... Okay, you're fragile. We don't really want that. You just have a daughter. No one really has an appropriate child. Okay, so just someone else coming in to pledge their loyalty. Nothing overly special. So could we actually... Are you still... Yes, you are still allied. So who are you betrothed to? Yes, it was his sister, wasn't it? It was her. Toxicite only has one of the best traits in the game. You know, no big deal for Positron. Big flex. I'm sorry. When her brother and sister both have comely hail and genius, her coming out with intelligent is very disappointing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so a faction. So the Independence faction is disbanded, probably because they are... Toxicite, you're so hard to please, Mum. Yeah. Oh. I do like that they actually gave us the option to refine the positive traits so well in Crusader Kings 3. Because I know in Crusader Kings 2, just getting even like one child with a genius trait was a major cause for celebration. Whereas now it seems to be a lot easier, and it actually does reward you for doing so with the strength and bloodline option. So yes, that will be very interesting when we get to play as our grandson and see what happens. So inspiration. So you want to forge a crown, but you are of no real notable interest. And I say that and I click away. Here we go. We get another cat. There we go. So my vassal, Mayor Sanat, happily declares, I think I found the reason why some days are more rat-free than others, as she moves aside to reveal a servant holding a very displeased cat. Yes, and I know we've got at least a fair few cat lovers in the chat. Cats! Yes. So we can say, I'd love a female... I said this bloody last time, didn't I? I said I'd love a female companion. I'd love a feline companion. So we gain a pet cat. We can say to our vassal that she gets the cat instead, and she would gain 30 opinion of us. So let's actually see. He's at 62 opinion, and she is 68 years old. Yes, someone's going to clip that, aren't they? Someone is definitely going to clip that. Or we could say no cat this time, and our mayor loses 10 opinion of us. But yes, we will love a little feline companion. And I seriously think I need to write a few comments to Paradox. Especially kind of going... Like, I've got a pet cat. Where is it? Where is the cat in my court? I want to see the cat and the dog in my court. I want to see them in my court, damn it. Okay, so we have a black cat this time. So let me see. Let me see if we can find a good cat name for this little one. And this cat is a female once again. It seems to be, or I think I've had 3 court cats and all 3 of them have been female. Okay, so there's obviously quite a lot of them names that are relating to like light, beauty, white, pearl, dawn, pure. Okay, let's actually go for Gwyneth. Let's name her Gwyneth. Toxic Eye just tempted to call the cat Welsh. Okay, we'll go with Gwyneth for this one. And hopefully this little kitty will be around for a long while. So another betrothal. And that's been accepted. So are we still attempting to kill you? Yes, we are. So unfortunately... Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't see that. So the Archbishop of the court has got himself involved in it. And yes, we need some more men-at-arms regiments, so I will get ourselves a bowman. And keeps on flicking along. So, ooh, good. So we are the current culture head, and it looks like we are discovering the last 2 innovations in the tribal area, which will be fantastic. So city planning, 49% progressed, expect to be discovered in about 23 years. And mott's in about 25 years. I was wondering what that link was, Jazzy. Okay. Okay, so 5% chance she's killed. Let's try it. And she still lives. So we've been named. We gain 10 dread, so she knows that we were trying to kill her, which is pretty much self-evident. And, okay, now she hates us. Now she absolutely hates us. What is our chance to kill you? 13%. You know what? I'm going to change it over. Okay, so we've got a few people here who can be convinced. So we would need to bribe 15 gold. Yes, we will do that. You will give us 20 plot power. Ooh, food taster. Food taster. That is a good person to bring in to the scheme. Okay, an archbishop and court physician. There we go. And that may be a tiny bit of a bug, because even though I only had 27 gold, I was able to spend... How much is that going to be? So 69, nice. 69 gold, but because I didn't unpause, Toxic Eye, thank you. That is a good plan, yes, to support the scheme. So that is now, if I can find it, I always click on the wrong thing, 89% chance of success. Of course, this could obviously mean that they just turn around and get his sister betrothed to who is unmarried. Okay, so they could turn around and get the King of England could easily go around and get his sister betrothed to the youngest son here. But we will obviously just try it. So this will take approximately 10 months. And I think we have enough time to wait here for the scheme to actually get some power and progress. And let's ask our head of faith for gold again. We will spend 250 prestige to get some more money. And yes, change our spouse to focus on intrigue as well, couldn't we? Because we did marry her for her decent stats. Okay, unfortunately it's already been discovered. So, okay, my involvement has not been known yet. So unfortunately we're now down to 17%. Yeah, Toxicite. It would have been nice if that could actually have pushed us up to 95% before the scheme was found. Before the scheme was found out. No, we actually kind of want the Duchy if we can. Okay, so just or lose just for temperate. We don't really care about temperance, so we'll just let her keep just. And obviously just checking on our other... Okay, so no children from the other ones. And I always love this. So it's like you randomly get some of your vassals just absolutely, or gaining opinion of you just because they absolutely love your cat. That is always so cute. And while I'm actually thinking about it, let's see. Yes, I just want to be nosy again. So still, yep, still only 4 people in the entire world that we know of that have the trait. Okay, so murder, 17%. 68% chance the scheme is discovered. Yep, okay, I thought so. So they now know that we've been trying to kill him as well. So a vassal has copulated with his lover out of wedlock. Well, you know what? Both of your spouses have died. Why don't I just get you to marry each other? Okay, apparent, not arranged marriage. Is it find spouse? Okay, no, I can't even do that. Boo. Nope, I can't even do that. Oh well. So this crime cannot go unpunished. Yeah, let's just negotiate, not negotiate release. We want to ransom for 50 gold and you will leave the prison. Relationship. Okay, so we can't actually get you to marry, unfortunately. And apostate, what does that give? We don't really want that. Cultural fascination progress, yes. Plus 35%. And an inspiration. Wants to forge a crown. How much will this cost us? 100 gold. So she is average, but I kind of think we'd want a crown at this point. Just because we have been the King of Wales for a decent amount of time. Actually, let's see, when did we obtain it? 980, so we've had it for almost 15 years. So I think that, yes, we deserve a nice crown. And powerful council. So who is it and what are they good at? Not really anyone of interest and not really that useful. So never mind. Okay, so nothing overly of interest there, and the plot to try and kill this character has failed, so unfortunately we won't be able to do it for a good while. Oh, there we go. So we have a crown. That actually took nowhere near as long as I thought. So fine craftsmanship. So this is a standard quality, 0.14 prestige, and independent ruler opinion +2. Forged from silver and set with small pieces of jet. For 100 gold, I think that is reasonably appropriate. So here we go. 1 crown. Toxicite. I just thought of a sweaty thing you could do. The family that has some of the good traits but are far down the line, give them to your commander so you can have superhumans. That is an interesting thing. So let me actually see if we have anyone who is... Honestly, I kind of think that that is... So we have these two children here who are both geniuses. And they are from these two. So the genius lunatic who was looking for the head of the not cult person, but yeah, and we have, so we do have this niece as well. Unfortunately, no valid characters. So let's actually have a look at our knights, actually, just out of interest. So find spouse for you. And we do actually have a decent amount of traits going around, so we could do that. Let's see who is good in terms of martial. Oh, so there are a couple of people who are geniuses, but they are just about on the cusp of not being able to have children. So I will, yes, I think I will sort out a few little marriages for a few people. Okay, can't do it for you. You are already married, but you do have 2 children. Already married. Not married. It can get very micro, but I think honestly, yes, getting some of these characters married to begin with anyway would be a good idea, especially as at least some of them are actually part of our dynasty. So you are 18 years old. Let's have a look. So we've got a 19-year-old who's got the beautiful trait here. A 12-year-old who is our niece. Maybe not. I kind of want to avoid marrying cousins unless it is a really good idea. So yes, we'll go down here and get you to... So that is the character that I was just looking at. Let's do the same for here. Who could we potentially get you married to? So you do have a lisp, so this is going to be a bit of a gamble. You are 16. Nope, the only people we can really betroth you to are our nieces. And let's do a couple more. Yeah, so we've got another genius, but she is 41. And we've got a 28-year-old here who's got the Amazonian trait. Or an 18-year-old with the robust trait. Let's go for the Amazonian one. You will probably need to arrange your own marriage. And yep, same here. Basically, unless they have the wedding ring symbol like that, it's not really going to happen. Let's get you to matrilineally married just to get you into a house. And who can you marry? Just as a last one. Any half decent level 2 trait? Yes, apparently you two are related. And we... Yes, that is the one, that is the character that we'd already arranged a marriage to, so there's going to be a bit of alliance acceptance spam in here. So our rival has died, which reduces our stress by 10. Okay. There we go. Okay, just 5 of them then. And we need a new court position. Average aptitudes. How about our antiquarian? Can we get someone who is good? Yes, we can. Let's do that. He is going to dislike us because of it. Search for a physician. And pet our pet cat. So we have 13 with a 3-star physician trait, or 10 with the aspiring blade master, which I guess could be useful in a physician, because obviously they'd know the vital organs and such, so they'd be able to manage that. But we will go for the person who is actually good. And there we go, lose 10 stress just by petting our cat. And inspiration. So for Dragalia, skill is merely decent, so no. We won't do that. And this is someone else saying that she's obviously been given a position as an antiquarian. Surely I deserve one as well. So she could be our seneschal, which is the royal household administering. Okay, you've got 11 skills, so yes, go on, you can be our seneschal. And we can also hold court. I think we'll once again leave that for the next time. And why does this one always happen? No, we are not giving our cat away. I'm sorry. We can always get a new wife, as I was told last time that happened. And you are also almost 20 years older than us, so if you outlive us, I will be exceedingly surprised. Okay, so you have grown up. I cannot remember why I pinned you in the first place. But regardless, oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I hope you get out of prison soon. Oh. Wow. Wow, okay, so yeah, this is an example of just how unlucky you can potentially be. So that girl with the pure-blooded trait that we have betrothed to our grandson, her older sister has the inbred trait, and her younger brother has the inbred trait and has the hideous trait. Toxicite. I will never give away my cat. My wife? My wife I can replace. Yeah. Unfortunately, getting the cat is a far rarer event than other things are. So unfortunately, the last time it happened, we gave the cat to one of our courtiers, and unfortunately, the cat kind of ran away and, well, I presume died, so I would rather keep the little kitty somewhere safe. So, okay, so our daughter can gain the trait Craven or Lazy. Oh, they are both as bad as each other, honestly. We'll just let you keep Craven because that is slightly better. So you are still allied, so vastly superior. When can we murder you, or attempt to murder you again? 10:03. Puffkins, I bet that lost cat founded a dynasty in a faraway land and is fat and happy. Maybe. I mean, it has been a few years, so yeah, you know, maybe there were a few great-grand kittens running around. And, okay, so this is the other side of it, a vassal who doesn't like the cat. So we'll compensate you and we'll lose 50 gold. We can afford that. That is probably about a year's worth of income. Well, a bit more. Toxicite, cat is in CK2. Do you mean in terms of just the events, or are you joking about the cat running away to Crusader Kings 2? Okay, we'll sell everything which is impossible to read and get back that 50 gold we paid to appease our vassal, because the cat destroyed a lot of things that belonged to said vassal. New learning perk. We probably will be able to finish this tree by the time our character dies. Toxicite, very nice mathematician's answer there, thank you. A very nice mathematician's answer. Oh, and I've just realised that we are actually the dynasty head once again. So, nope, we cannot see which trait was chosen. We should be able to, somehow. I'm just not sure how. I'll probably have to look at that outside of the stream and figure it out. So one other option we could actually do. 16%. And, okay, our wife has sadly died. So that has gained us a little bit of stress. She died of heart failure. So let's find ourselves a new wife once again. An infertile wife who has... I think we tried to go for intrigue last time, didn't we? So I think we will do the same again and just see if there's anyone who's got a range of stats. So we've got Briska here, 15 in stewardship and 20 in intrigue. We've got Hadwis, who is quite good at diplomacy and military as well. So you're not quite... Okay, yep, we'll go for you. I won't debate on it for too long, because otherwise we will spend half an hour sitting here debating the merits between a couple of different spousal options. A fourth child who has 2 genetic traits. Nothing, not even pregnant. Nothing, not even pregnant. 14 years old. Oh, okay, you're both just. You'll get on okay with that then. So who is in terms of this? Okay, so apparently if too many people die in the line of succession, this England and Wessex... Oh, no, that's not... Okay, ignore that. I was reading Wessex as Mercia, but no, those two thrones won't rejoin up, at least not immediately. So from the looks of it, Jorvik has been completely, or the Vikings at least, have been driven out. I think we only have the Isles left. Yeah, Catholic, Insular, Christian. Ah, nope, there they are. Okay, so they're still holding on in Fife and the Isles, but that looks about it. And I love this. So we get 2 gold from our little cat. We get 2 gold. Anyway, yes, like I said, Insular, Asatru, Catholic, Catholic, Catholic. I am still surprised that East Anglia is still so independent. And speaking of that, okay, it doesn't look like Spain's changed too much. We've got a war going on there from the looks of it. Byzantines slowly starting to creep up here from the looks of it. Everyone else. Once again, if the... Oh, you're getting... Or you're getting quite a bit of land. But anyway, if there are changes around here, they're kind of minor enough to not really be that noticeable. Sardinia looks like a battle royale. Where is Matt? Okay, so our daughter has come of age. Okay, so this is 50 gold. We'll just say that sounds like a you problem. Eldom of East Riding. Now see, if you had given me the duchy claim, I may have felt guilty. And yeah, Sardinia is let me see. So we do have Verona apparently occupies a bit of land there. And then we have Corsica. And then we have an Orthodox Sardinian, a Mualadi, Andalusian person. We have an Ibadi Maghrebi, another Orthodox Sardinian, and another Orthodox Sardinian, but they are all independent counts. So yes, yeah. So indeed, that is quite an interesting little. Oh, okay. So they do own a little bit more land over there, but yes. Yes, they have kind of split apart a fair amount. And apparently, even with all of the waiting, we've basically not gotten any extra prestige, really. Okay, that is a accepted marriage proposal. Jeez, come on. I know you're cousins, but is that really that unappealing? I mean, come on, look at your bloody brother. He's got 6 kids now. Come on. Hey. So the newest 2, are they twins? Yes, they are. So, okay, so this is the second son. So comely, hale, and intelligent. I would have been so disappointed if he had been the first in line, because that is so close yet so far away from being able to strengthen the bloodline. And then the sister is intelligent, and we are just starting to see some of the negative effects from marrying the cousins together, as she has got the giant trait. So it does give you plus prowess, because obviously you're so higher, or you're so much taller, that obviously you have a much greater advantage in battle. However, it does give you a minor penalty to your health and minus attraction opinion, because apparently people in this world do not want Amazonians. A +5 to battle opinion, +10 to tribal ruler opinion, and opinion of other giant characters is +20. So your time here has come to an end. With her goes the petty claim on the petty kingdom of Wessex. Oh dear. Ooh, I didn't realise that you had that. Oh wait, this is our niece. This is our niece. I knew. Right. Okay, this is a slight issue, because obviously we already have her older sister. Oh, okay, she is finally pregnant. Yeah, give me 1 year and let's just see how that goes. So their military strength is superior to ours. They declare war. That's not the right one. There we go. Seize the... Oh, okay, no, that's not the right one either. Huh. Jazzy, exactly. Toxicite cats over humans. Well, Jazzy, our wife died not long after that anyway, so we had to get a new one. So, proposed deal. Oh. So, I think this is our second son. Would like to buy our cat. I'm... Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I could deal with losing our cat. Oh. And then what was this one? Secondhand. Okay, apparently I can't make a decision on that one. No, I'm sorry. I could never sell the cat. So, secondhand glamour. Finest raiments in the land, mostly because they ain't from the land. Almost new, just as good as new, and fresh from the trendsetters in King Ethelred's court. These are what everyone in the Kingdom of Wessex will be wearing next season. So you are talking to... So just a random courtier talking to our niece. Toxicite, thank you for dropping in. Have a good night yourself, and maybe I'll see you in the next stream on Saturday. But either way, I hope you have a good time, and I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you for popping by. So we can say these do look enticing. So we pay 50 gold and lose 75 prestige. And so we gain court grandeur and lose a tiny bit of stress. We can say we don't need foreign nonsense, or who cares what people wear. Yeah, let's do that. So our court grandeur is now at +3, and while we're actually doing that, just to kind of get it a little bit in line with things, we'll update our fashion. Yeah, Jazzy May, have a good night, y'all. Indeed. So anyway, we will set that one. So we just have out-modded fashion, just to bump things up a tiny bit. And let's see, so we can hold court, pet our cat. Indeed, we will pet our cat. We must always, always pet our cat. So I think we could probably... I was going to say, I am just ending, yes. No, I am just about to end. We've actually ticked over. We are now in the 11th century. So 1001 AD. Yeah, that was just Toxicite saying that they were obviously heading off, but I think it is almost 10 o'clock here, and I think we are once again at a good point to stop. We actually have a decent amount of money in our treasury, so we should be able to potentially go to war next stream without too much worry about about things, and hopefully we may be able to get a claim on the Duchy of Lancaster and kind of get a bit of money up there. Hopefully we'll be able to successfully scheme to either kill the sister of the King of England or her spouse over in Ireland, and we can start chipping away at England because we have a claim on one of the duchies there, and then maybe we can shore up against Wessex and begin to start claiming more of England. Jazzy May, your laugh is so cute. Yeah, oh, I know at least when I think it was Odd Top did a clip of my evil laugh. I think I may have to put that one as a sound effect. And who knows, maybe I'll have to put a sound of my regular laugh on as well. And yeah, no, it wasn't you. You didn't curse the stream or anything. I was honestly just about to start wrapping up anyway. And honestly, I was saying that because I kind of thought you were taking the opportunity to head off. But anyway, that is where we are for today. So we will save that. and this has not necessarily been quite as successful as last stream where we became the King of Wales, but I will say the fact that we've actually managed to hold on to it is probably a good thing considering what happened last time. So anyway, yes, my goodness, this was a good stream in multiple ways. So Hoofkins, if you are okay, I've just seen your message. If you are still in the stream, once again, thank you so much for all the gifted subs you've given, and thank you for your own subscription as well. Upasin has also, he headed off a short while ago, but yes, thank you very much to everyone who's popped in to participate. Thank you, Ray. Yes, congratulations indeed for the affiliateship. And I will just do one last time. Hopefully that works. So once again, please go and have a look at Oddtop's channel and see if you have a bit of time tomorrow to pop into his stream to celebrate him getting to 50 followers and hopefully help him towards getting affiliateship as well. But for me, I will sign off. Let's just get the see you next time screen up. So yes, thank you very much to everyone, and hopefully I'll be able to see a lot of you in the next stream on Saturday. So let me just have a look and see, is there anyone available on Twitch that I can go and raid? Let me see. So back to Twitch, and yes, we have. Yeah, so let's go and raid this person. So this is White Mage, and she is the person who Upasin asked to draw a lovely picture of me. So there we go. So White Mage. There we go. That should be starting. So yes, indeed, Hoofkins, take care, everyone. We'll be popping over to White Mage Q in a short bit, just to pop over and basically say hello. She is playing Animal Crossing. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time. Bye-bye for now.